Great show, guys. Big
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show.
All right.
Talk to Neil. Call 567-0560. Toll free for David Brower. Or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
There's only one Neil, thank God, and I don't want to be him.
Last week, I did the craziest thing. I flew to Oakland to learn Ebonics. And then I hit the street to go check out my style. And what happened was quite ironic.
No.
There was a black guy standing on the corner. I said to him, "What's up? And your blood, what's going down?" Then looked at me as if I was some kind of freak. And you won't believe what he called me. Jigaboo, jigaboo. Now how do you like it? Jigaboo, jigaboo. But you don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo. The honky don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo, boo, boo. He said Ebonics ain't for you. And he pulled out a gun. I said, "Hey man, I'm just learning Ebonics 101. Then he aimed at me and said, "Here's lesson 102. A womp bump a loop bump a womp bam boom." As I lay there, I thought I was dying. Someone called the paramedics. I presume. Then another dude said, "Man, you pathetic honky fool. Do Ebonics again and we'll be dissing you." Jigaboo, jigaboo. Now how do you like it? Jigaboo, jigaboo. All right. You don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo. The honky don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo, boo, boo. Jigaboo, jigaboo. Now how do you like it? Jigaboo, jigaboo. But you don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo. The honky don't like it. Jigaboo, jigaboo, boo, boo. Jigaboo, jigaboo.
Yeah, I got a little jigaboo problem, which I'll share with the audience momentarily. But anyway, how about that Bougainvillea this morning? Oh! It's supposed to be a secret, but I guess we always let the cat out of the bag on the show anyway, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's let it out. Little trial balloon they floated this morning. I don't want Joe and Beefo to get real nervous about it, but they wanted to do a little test dry run, so to speak. We took a vote in the studio here today around the building. Everybody said, "Good job, Bougainvillea. Excellent. Big improvement over the usual, foot dragging, the usual kind of fudging around."
Were you fudge packer?
Or whatever that is. So we'll find out from the audience. Maybe there are a lot of people. We don't have a lot of crossover on that morning show, do we?
No.
Like 5 people, but maybe there's some people out there who noticed the tremendous difference this morning. I know that the hat size reduced at least by 5 or 6. Not necessarily the shirt and the pantaloon size, but the hat size. You think maybe that's somebody about the worst team, about the tremendous improvement this morning with Boog? Before I get into my Schwarzer thing this morning? First, I want to say that the stuff, for example, Georgia especially, with that Puerto Rican crap, totally unacceptable. No, seriously, totally unacceptable. If you walked into a room, like that swing club you keep going to, if you walked into a place like that and you saw beautiful naked people in there, or like people in the act of undressing, would you be running around asking there well, what country are you from and what's your ethnic or?
No,
you'd be hopping on it in a heartbeat.
And besides, in most cases, you can tell without asking.
No, see, there you go again with all that smell crap again. That's what you were going to get to.
No,
you're
talking about the clothes.
Very, very unacceptable. Your whole attitude about people in general. I want to say, for example, like JP, there's a good example. He's away at school now. If it turned out he would have been Puerto Rican, Mexican, Venezuelan, I wouldn't have given a crap less, okay? He would have still been the same lovely young man. That's correct.
I wouldn't have given a crap less.
No, that's beside the point. You even like him. And that's probably only because he's Cuban. But at any rate, so I think that, like I've always told you over the years, people are people. Stop with this crap, except there is an exception. I've had a lot of problems. And I realize we do have, in fact, the last week or so, we discovered we got a lot of dark folks out there in the audience, which is great. That's wonderful. But why do I continue encountering so many? Is it just bad luck? Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Maybe I'm just unlucky that I have so many bad experiences with dark folks. Like maybe there's another example, right there. We had a real bad experience. Oh, and speaking of him, by the way, before I get into my experience, I think if Carol at Center One or any of our friends at Center One are listening, I think you've got all the money from the QAM golf tournament you're going to be getting. Yeah, I think they've got it all. You know how much they got?
Yes!
You know what the amount is?
Oh!
I think that's what they're going to get. I mean, when a general manager of the radio station stands here and hems and haws and does a nervous laugh and says, well, it wasn't much. Wasn't much. Well, how about a number? Well, it wasn't much. You know what he's trying to say? That's what they're going to get, squat. And, of course, if I were the people from Lago Mar or any of our fine sponsors out there or any of our listeners that participated and put up their hard-earned money to participate in a golf tournament because they thought that some of it was going to go to charity or a big chunk of it, I'd be kind of porked off, wouldn't you?
Uh-huh.
I'd be really psychotic. Thinking, what kind of an asshole place is that anyway? But like I said, I think you get what you see is what you get.
Oh!
That's what you're going to get from that golf tournament. Speaking of
Roy!
our close personal best friend, Mr. Thickneck. So speaking of thick necks, and I've told you about Amsterdam, what a great place it is. I go there all the time, 1,000,000 times a year. It's one of the great cities in the world. It's a fun place. The only, I underline, beside the fact they eat mayonnaise on their French fries, but so do most of the Europeans. Belgians do that too, by the way. The only negative thing that I see there is those dark-complected folks from like the Netherlands Antilles who are standing all over not everywhere, but they're around. More than enough to make you aggravated, trying to peddle hard drugs out on the street, illegal drugs. Crack, man, rock, crack, coke. They all look the same. They all smell the same. They haven't bathed in years. Their heads, they have the long, filthy Rasta hair. They're all kind of like hunched over like Quasimodo on a bad day. They're the only negative thing in the whole city, which I guess is probably good because, you don't want any place to be paradise. Every place has got to have a problem. Then this weekend in Toronto, I'm in a convenience store downtown. Beautiful weekend. 68 during the day, 50 at night, sun shining. It was fantastic, almost like Indian summer. It's beautiful. I'm in a convenience store, and I'm getting a diet soda. Diet Sprite, by the way, for those who keep track of these important things on this show, Diet Sprite in a can. And I'm standing in line in this convenience store. It's fairly busy in there. There's like about half a dozen people online. I'm number 3. And there's a young black lady she's in front of me, and behind her was a young, kind of like a young
Roy!
Foster with a thick neck, young guy about 20, but a mean-looking guy. You know what I'm talking about? Real mean-looking. You wouldn't want to fool with him. And now all of a sudden he drops out of the line. He goes kind of off to the side of the store there. He's doing his curds and whey, whatever he's doing. So the girl pays for her crap, whatever she's got, and now it's my turn to pay for my soda and get the hell out of there, right? But no. Now all of a sudden, just as I start taking that step forward, I feel this elbow in front of me. And I hear a voice saying, "Where the heck you going, man?" And here comes our dark-complected young man, asshole with an attitude. And now he decides he's stepping back in line to pay for his orange drink or whatever hell he's got. His watermelon juice. And he pays and walks out of there. He doesn't walk out of there, he swaggers out of there, And the young Chinese lady behind the counter that works there, she says to me, "Oh, we have so many problems. You can't say nothing. We have so many problems, Why do I have so many bad experiences with black people? I want to say it again. It's very bad to generalize about any group of people. But in this case, I'm tempted to make an exception. There are very nice black people. We have 4 or 5 of them in our listening audience, maybe 8 or 9, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. What's his name that does the cars now? Dexter. Great guy. Loves the show, by the way. How you doing, Dexter? Very polite. Subservient.
Could give them a plug if you wanted to.
Well, what's the name of their joint?
It's on the refrigerator magnet right there on the cabinet, yellow, right next to Luscious Jackson.
Oh, Luscious Jackson Car Wash people.
Under Darth Maul.
Luscious Jackson?
It was a free sticker.
What kind of a name is that?
Lesbian band.
Oh, I see. Right next to
Right
Luscious
next to
Jackson. Oh, I see. I thought maybe that was the name of his car wash.
I don't know if you can see that far.
1-888 Wash Wax. I can see anything, believe me, okay? Anything. I have amazing eyesight. And hearing, trust me, well, I tell you. 10 minutes after 10 at 560 WQAM. We'll get back to this in a second. Maybe some of our friends can help me overcome my deep-seated, ever-growing negatory feelings about black men. And, of course, Jamaican women, who also happen to be black, but that's only a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? And how about those Rasta people in, what are they? In Amsterdam.
Aren't they black?
Scumbags.
No portion of this broadcast may be reproduced without written permission of WQAM Beasley Reed Acquisition Corp.
You gotta keep your Jackson straight here. Hello, I'm Tommy from Thai Tommy, saying for the best Thai food and the best service. As long as you're not black, come on down to Thai Tommy on South Beach. We don't like black people. They don't tip well. Besides, why black people want to eat Thai food anyway? We don't have fried chicken on the menu. Oh wait, I forget. We have a spare ribs. Look, Ching, I talk. Hot spare ribs on menu. So, if you're not black, come on down to Thai Tommy. Come to think of it, those damn gay people, we not like them either. Sure, they tip good, but they talk too loud with funny lists. They serve other customers, no come back. So, no gay, no black. And while we're at it, Latin people, you make reservation for 7:15. Don't show up at 8:20 and expect your table. We give it to someone else already. Latin people always late. No black, no gay, no Latin in Thai Tommy. And Jewish people, you stop bickering over bill. Who cares who have what? Pay where and go. Settle outside. Takes 45 minutes trying to divide up bill. We don't want you here. No Jew, no black, no fag, no Cuban. And white people, you think you're better than everybody else? Complain too much if we don't kiss your ass. You no come back. No white, no black, no Jew, no Latinos, no gays. Everybody else, for the best Thai food, come on down to Thai Tommy on the beach. Hurry before we have to close.
So when's that new Tycoon joint opening anyway? 10:16 at 560 WQAM. Very disturbed. For example, here in yesterday's New York Times Sunday magazine is a big front page story about kids shooting other kids and about are the parents responsible. And they got the parents of the young black man who was the only black student killed at Littleton, Colorado at Columbine High. And here's a picture of the Reverend Al Sharpton. You know Al Sharpton?
He's an asshole.
Yeah. And Michael Scholes, the father of the young black man. And they have filed a lawsuit, these parents. They filed a lawsuit against the parents of the two lunatics that did all the shootings, Klebold and Harris. I just want to read a couple of paragraphs because as I was reading this on a plane coming back last night, it again reinforced those feelings that I have.
Oh, man.
And like I said before, I don't care what anybody is. You can be, it's one of the worst problems in the world today. And all throughout history. Even within countries, are they from Northern Ireland? Are they from Southern Ireland? Are they from, in this country? Are they from the Deep South? Which, of course, you know what that means. But nevertheless, no, seriously. People hating people just based on these artificial, superficial crap. But I have a problem with black people all over the world. Look in Africa, for example. I was talking about this the other day. Do you know that in South Africa a woman gets raped every 24 seconds? There's no country in the world where rape is more common than in South Africa. Every 24 seconds a woman gets raped. But nevertheless, getting back to this story about the kids at Columbine, it says, 72 hours before my son was slain down like he was some kind of animal, Michael says. Isaiah, that was the son, was riding in the family van with Michael, Vonda, the mother, and their 4 other children. Out of nowhere, Isaiah asked us, what would you do if someone gunned down all your children? Would you go get guns? I said, is there a reason you asked that? He said, Dad, I was just asking a hypothetical question. He got real testy. I said, son, no, we won't get guns because we're not vengeful people. If anybody or anything will take down one of my children, I'll try to beat it down. I'll try to strike it down. I'll speak against it the rest of my life. 3 days later, Isaiah's question took on the aura of prophecy, leaving his parents to wonder what their son knew but would not share. According to an eyewitness, one gunman said, look, there's that little nigger, before killing the popular athlete with what the autopsy report would show to be a single shotgun blast to the chest. Nigger, says Michael, all but spitting out the word. That's the last thing he heard. Should that be the last thing you have to hear before the last breath leaves your body? Because of that word and all it represents, the Scholeses say, Isaiah's murder was more egregious, more shattering, more evil than the murders of the others at Columbine. It was worse than the others, Vonda says. What happened to Isaiah was worse. And it follows, they say, that their family is now owed more. We are victims of an earthquake, or we're like victims of an earthquake or hurricane, Michael says. Our lives have been destroyed. As if somehow to suggest that the lives of the other parents whose kids have been killed there and at the other schools around the country, their lives haven't been destroyed. Is that what he's saying? And that his son was more valuable and this was, he said, let me say it again. It was worse than the others. What happened to Isaiah was worse. And when I read about this lawsuit and I see that the Reverend Al Sharpton is there egging these people on.
He's an asshole.
It just reinforces my feelings again. And, of course, there are those people over the years who say, well, you know, we know you're a racist. Think I'm a racist? What are you smirking? I asked you a question. I'm prepared to listen to the answer. Am I a racist? George?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think most people
are, yeah.
To an extent.
To some degree or other. The problem with me, though, is that it's getting worse instead of better. All those experiences in Amsterdam, the experience. See, one thing about Toronto, not only is it the cleanest big city in the world by that last poll that they took, I guess they count the number of pieces of garbage on the streets, but it's also one of the most polite. Torontonians, if anything, it's a fault, are too polite. Like at a hockey game, you know, the Leafs score a goal, and they're sitting down. They don't want to get up and block anybody's view like the assholes do here. You know, that's a little bit too polite. They're enthusiastic but very polite. So when somebody acts to you in a way that is not polite and is rude and sticks his elbow in front of you, and where the hell are you going? And goes out of his way to show you what a hot-ass spook he is, it reinforces my feelings of racism. And wonder what be wrong with black people. You know what I'm saying? Bothers me a lot. See, you can live your life based on stereotypes that you pick up from TV shows or you know, crap. Silly jokes. But when you live your life, if you're intelligent, you base your feelings about things on your experiences, on your life experiences. And the experiences that I have just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like these names, these American names, these illiterate names. And the sports nerd people, of course, go on the air and dutifully report them like this is the way it's supposed to be. Like Lavender Anus Coles there on FSU. And that Anthony Hardaway. Anthony, how you be doing, Anthony? There's no such name as Anthony. What do that mean? No, seriously, what does that mean? And nobody else that I know of asked these questions aloud. Maybe behind people's back they're like laughing and tittering, if I can say that. Like, what kind of an illiterate bunch of bullcrap is that, Anthony? Well, what is that? Lavernius. Laveranus. Laveranus. See what I mean?
It's distinct.
It's distinct? Yeah. No, seriously, there's got to be, I mean, people can scream and yell. It's like at the gay pride parades and all the silly mincing prissy queens. I've talked about this a million times before. I'm embarrassed by those people. I'm nauseated and revolted. They don't represent me or the most gay people. They're just obnoxious little faggots. And assholes like this kid in the convenience store, this hotshot, this little thick neck,
Roy
Junior. He just, he just sets you back. He sets you back 100 years in your life. And you think, how can I coexist with animals like this? This isn't a person. This is an asshole. This is an asshole with legs and ears. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I want to talk about that topic we touched on earlier with the kid that walked into the supermarket, wherever you were.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something with black people. This is my own life experiences. For the most part, the black people that work and actually have to earn a living, a decent living, not selling drugs or not robbing people, are usually people you can actually talk to, have a beer with, they're down to earth.
Yeah.
It's these punk kids, and I know exactly what you're talking about. They don't do anything. They have a chip on their shoulder, and they're rude, and they don't know how to act, and this is what pisses white people off. And then we look like racists, but we're really not. As long as you act with some respect.
You see, if this kid would have been white, if he would have been Chinese, if he would have been white and did the same thing, I would have been just as pissed off. I would have thought, what a rude mother scratcher this piece of crap is.
Exactly.
But he wasn't white and he wasn't Chinese. He was black.
Well, because for the most part, these are the people that have the chips on their shoulders is the blacks. I'm sorry to say, and I'm not a racist, but
what do they got the chip on their shoulder about? What is that going to get them?
You know what it is? I have another point I want to make. I'm going to tell you this, and I have another point. It's people like Al Sharpton and Johnny Cochran and people that ignite the fire inside of it. They probably wouldn't have the chip. A lot of them probably wouldn't have the chip on their shoulder for a lot of these idiot black politicians. And I'm sorry to say it, they are idiots. Marion Barry, everything's black, black, black. I mean, if someone dies...
I don't think that this kid in the convenience store was influenced by politicians.
Well, whatever it is.
There aren't too many black politicians in Canada, eh?
Yeah, but they hear the rhetoric. I mean...
I don't think so.
And another thing is that...
I don't think he was too political.
The Isaiah...
He wasn't a political animal. He was just like your ordinary, regular garden variety animal.
The Isaiah kid that died in Colorado, that is disgusting for the parents to say that. Like,
he says that
you're dead, whether you're black,
it was
white.
worse than the others because the last word he heard was nigger. Well, what difference does it make what the last word you hear is? How about the girl that says, do you believe in God? She said, yes, he killed her. I mean, what's the difference?
You're dead, whether you're black, white, or green. You're still dead.
It goes back to this misery index again. You know, who's suffered the most?
Well, it's the black people that talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone. The Jewish people had 7 million people die. I mean, do you still bring it up every day? Some
of them do. Some of them. In fact, I know some Jewish people who, when they go to Europe, instead of going places to have a good time, they take a tour of the concentration camps.
Well, there's nothing wrong with seeing what happened, taking a tour, but
oh, come on.
But every
come on. You talk about a one-dimensional. What kind of an asshole wants to go and take a tour of all the places where there were concentration camps? What is that? I mean, it's one thing to go to the Anne Frank house, which millions of people do, and spend maybe an hour of your lifetime basking in the grotesqueness of ancient history.
Neil, but people should better spend 3 hours of their life at a stupid ball game. Come on.
Then going to concentration camps? Yes, sir. I'll take the ball game. Thank you. I'm going to Bergen-Belsen and Dachau and Auschwitz. Oh my God! If I could tell you what I don't even know what the word is. I pity people like that who are living in a professional state of misery. Yeah, we're talking horrendous history, okay, but why in the world would you want to go back and revisit it? Especially when you or none of your relatives were there in the first place. And even if they were there, who would want to see it again? Yeah, I went to Europe for 2 weeks. What did you do? Oh, visited all the concentration camps. Haven't you ever met anybody like that?
Maybe if they turned them into theme parks.
See, leave it to you. Leave it to an insensitive little professional Cuban like you.
Put some carnival rides in there.
Like, oh, geez, I don't want to lose that Rimmer pen. 26 after 10 at 560 WQAM as we try somehow to bridge the gap that exists between normal civilized people and barbaric uncivilized people who want to act like animals, okay? Which most civilized people don't want to be surrounded with peoples like that, okay? You get it?
Only one South Florida radio station has that. Goldberg, weekday afternoons at 2. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
MONTAYSUCKN. Don't you love Bill Bradley? Don't we need Bill Bradley?
Yeah.
He's more than 6 feet tall. Plays pro basketball. Don't you love Bill Bradley? Yeah, we need him badly. He's gonna win the race. People love him 'cause he isn't Albert Gore. Did I mention that he isn't Albert Gore? He plays for the Knicks. He doesn't bore us sick. Yeah, we love him 'cause he isn't Albert Gore. Not Al Gore. Not Al Gore. Not Al Gore, yeah, he's not Al Gore. I'll say it one time more. We love Bill a lot, mostly 'cause he's not boring Albert Gore.
Yeah.
Well, don't you love Bill Bradley?
Uh-huh.
Don't you love Bill Bradley?
1032 at 560 WQAM to show you that the media continues being sick as always, by the way. At least they're consistent before we get back to our dilemma about how we're going to save the human race from dark-souled people. So yesterday, of course, we got the news all morning long about the horrendous plane crash of this Egyptian Air jet. And Miles O'Brien, isn't that the boring guy's name that's on CNN all weekend long? It's like he does 45-hour shifts on the weekend. He's on there talking to this one and that one, and of course we're getting ready to hear all the lies from the NTSB, which is what they do very well. Now they're on the phone with one of their correspondents in Cairo, okay? And The guy's going, you know, all those correspondents on the phone always sound the same. They got kind of a British accent. Oh, and it's really very tragic. And you hear in the background some guy starts wailing and screaming and crying and carrying on. Oh, well, one of the people just behind me here has just discovered that one of his loved ones died in the crash. Maybe I can hold the phone out. And Miles O'Brien, oh, James, no, James, well, now we're going to go over to anybody, please. Maybe I can hold, I mean, you could already hear it. And then, of course, what have we seen the last 24 hours? Every picture, every soundbite of people gnashing, wailing, and crying.
Maybe they could kick them a couple times.
You know what that reminds me of last week when I was talking about the Payne Stewart thing and that guy came out, the family representative, to make the statement. Talk to us about, and I'm thinking to myself, when is the day going to come when somebody in the media, one of these assholes with a microphone, is going to say, could you cry for us a little bit? Could you break down? Could we see you cry? Could you show us your real feelings here? Because we'd like for you to squirt a few tears, and they could do it right next door here in the PD's office tomorrow when he comes back. He cries at the drop of a hat. Weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, bris, Halloween parties. But anyway, talk about sick. Almost as sick as this dark-complected parent saying that his kid's death was worse than the others and that their family is now owed more than the honkies whose, I mean, he didn't use that word, but he might as well have, whose kids were killed. What kind of an attitude is that? In addition to which, what is this crap about who owes anybody? I'm so sick and tired about this attitude of everybody owes somebody because of somebody else's transgressions in the past or because of some tragedy that took place. We owe you something. I'll tell you what I owe you. Kick in the ass, man. I don't hear anybody else saying that anybody owes them anything. Here's Liberty City. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a long-time Schweitzer listener,
right.
as you called,
yes,
and
sir.
I respect everything you say about black people. I mean, where I live at in Liberty City, they talk about us, say, "What's up, my nigga," and all that stuff. And when you come on there and say it, somebody gets offended from the black neighborhood and say you shouldn't be saying that. The way I feel is, hey, if we
sounds like the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. And you know what else? I bought your CD. It's the bomb, man.
All right.
Especially when Broker Brian did that jigaboo thing. It's too bad that. Yeah, I mean, I'm coming on it. It's too bad that Dennis Rodman thing wasn't on there because I like that song.
Well, that's on an older one, yeah.
Yeah. I also called someone about this keychains.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get that too. But I want to get a little bit of what George saying about Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
At least when Puerto Ricans come over here, they already naturalized American citizens. They don't have to go through what Cubans go
through. Not looking for any handout, yeah.
No offense.
I understand.
George. And I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, was that a rip?
OJ is a murdering son of a bitch, and I hope they get him on something else. Because I agree with you. I'm not just saying that. I'm not being a Tom. I'm just calling it as it is.
Right.
You keep up the good work, Neil. And you know what else? Even though people put you down because you're a faggot and all that stuff, I don't care. But you trip me out, man. You're the bomb.
All right.
All right. Hey, and tell Boca Brian, do something about Liberty City. Make a song about Liberty City.
Okay.
That Boca Brian is a trip.
He
Keep
is.
up the good work, Neil.
He's a piece of work. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Peace. I'll pray for you. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. This, see, American people, white people in particular, have been conditioned into just, mumbling, muttering under their breath and not saying anything out loud because they're afraid of being called a racist. I don't give a crap. You call me whatever the hell you want. It makes no difference to me. And if I am a racist, well, I've been conditioned to become a racist because I'm constantly being confronted with attitudes of people like this punk in a convenience store. I'm in there to try to buy a diet soda. I'm not in there to make some political statement. I want to pay for my goddamn Diet Sprite and get the hell out of there and go out and walk in the sunshine. See all the beautiful people out there. All those beautiful white people, people out on Yonge Street. And this guy's elbowing me out of the way. I thought, hey, maybe 2 minutes for elbowing, huh, asshole? You jackass? People with a tude, baby, and I don't care what the hell they are. I don't care whether they're black, white. I'm sick and tired. I'm not impressed. The only thing I'm impressed by is the level, the intensity of your assholeness. That's the only thing that I'm impressed by. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yeah, what's up, Neil?
Yes, sir.
First of all, what if this guy get off saying, the caller that called 2 calls and said that if a black guy's not working, he has an attitude or, that makes no sense to me, man. You're telling me that if I don't have a job, that I'm an asshole, that you can't have a beer with me? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not all black people. Come on, people, wake up. And, there are some ignorant young black people out there, but there's some ignorant young black white people and Spanish people out there. That's because parenting, wasn't successful parenting, And it's the person, it's not the color of the skin.
Sterilization, man. You'd be amazed how well it would work.
Exactly,
when you got dumb people making babies, boy, it's amazing how dumb those babies usually turn out to be.
I tell you, some of these people that's making babies are still babies,
Yeah, that's right. Babies making babies.
Exactly. So, I mean, you can't just put your finger on it and say, because I listen to Johnny Cochran that I'm a threat to society.
Yeah.
I understand what's right and what's wrong, and there's a time and place for everything.
Well, just remember what Chris Darden said.
I don't give a shit anymore.
That's right.
Thank you, Neil. I enjoy your show, man.
God bless you, man.
Thank you.
See ya. See, we got a whole bunch of brothers out there, and they're good people, okay? If they listen to this show, that's good enough for me.
Oh!
Right. No, seriously, if people listen to this show would not elbow you out of the way at the convenience store. Guarantee you that right now. Our good buddy Dexter, would he elbow you out of the way?
No.
Good guy. He knows his place. I mean, he's a good, no, seriously, he's a good old boy. See, that's bad. But you just can't, I can't stop saying those things, and I don't mean them maliciously. It's just that we're in the habit of saying things that way. Aren't we? But usually off the air, usually in private. I, of course, say them right here on the air because it's fun. I mean, Dexter loves this show, by the way. How you doing, Dexter? Nice job on the car, by the way, sweetheart. And see, and there's the good car wash black guy. And then there was Spencer, who shined us. After all the publicity, oh, talk about me, Mr. Neil. And I talked about him for about 200 years, got him all that business, even through 16 heart attacks and all those other problems. And we come over here, shined us, turning us like a goddamn cornered rat. And not that I want to start up today or anything, even especially Monday, the beginning of a week, but wait till I get to this thing about Israel's history disputed. By no less than one of the great Israeli archaeologists at Tel Aviv University. Then all those people who are busy hocking and chinik with their visits to the concentration camps, once they hear this, they're going to go,
Oi!
Exactly. And
Thank
don't
God.
start with me about giving it back. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. They're not giving it back to the goddamn Palestinians.
They drove people out of their homes, bastards.
See those people blown up on a bus again yesterday? And who do you think it was that blew up
Y'all
the goddamn...
started it.
Who do you think it was blew up that plane yesterday?
Y'all started it.
Yeah, who do you think blew it up, okay?
Wouldn't be blowing things up
blew it up.
people
It was a bunch of
on.
crazy Muslim terrorists, I guarantee you. If there was a La Bamba on there, those people are even better at it than your people.
Let them go back
20
home.
before 11 at QAM.
This is 560 QAM.
Hasta del chupador.
We're so sorry, Dennis Rodman. We don't stock and all the pennies in Hughes and Green. We're so sorry, Dennis Rodman. But the panties come with sunnies to secure your little thing.
Bill Jackson notified me. He said you're very pretty, but you're dressing too petite. He asked if you would mind wearing something underneath, 'cause you're way too tall.
Way too tall. Every time he jumps, you can see his basketball.
You look retarded, retarded. For 7 foot tall guy. You look retarded, retarded. For 7 foot tall guy.
Like to sit and float around. Move it slightly to the ground if you wanna hold him down. Dennis Rodman likes to sit and flip around. Top his feet don't touch the ground. Even leg will weigh him down.
Remember that episode I had a few months ago in a hotel there? Remember I told you about getting up to catch the early flight? I got up 4 in the morning. I go downstairs at 4:30 or 4:45, and it was during that. That's right. In fact, I came home on the early flight because I wanted to get the hell out of there. It was that Caravana Festival in Toronto. with 8 billion Schwarzes from all over, most of them from the U.S., I think, because they were really obnoxious.
Uh-huh.
And at 4:30 in the morning, I come downstairs, and they're all milling around in the lobby there. It looked like a jungle jam in the lobby. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, these people were the rudest, the most obnoxious, game-playing, jitterbugging, screwing around with the elevator, just unbelievable crap. In a city where generally you go because, number one, people are very polite. This was all over the, maybe even the local papers had this story, but nevertheless a great condensation of it in Saturday's Toronto Star. Israel's history disputed. And here's a picture of King David. Well, not a photo, not a recent photo, but it's a statue.
A retouched picture.
Yeah, retouched, a little, airbrushed. Was the man who slew Goliath and who was the inspiration for Michelangelo's statue the leader of a mighty Jewish power or just of a small tribal kingdom?
Boy!
I'm going to read this a little bit later on. It's great. You see, and you know what this reinforces? What difference did it make? Like all this business about, well, our culture, this, and we have to teach black culture. Well, what difference does it make? What happened 1,000 years ago? I mean, if you want to know, it's nice to have information in your mind. Knowledge is great. I like to do a lot of reading, nonfiction, thank you. But what does that got to do with the price of peas? Absolutely, positively, nothing. Zippity-doo-dah. Just like the money we got from that golf tournament for Center One. Zippity-doo-dah. Nothing. Zero. And that's why all these conflicts that go on and all these people running around and have to go to a big song and dance about their forefathers did this and their lineage. Nobody gives a crap, okay? Nobody should give a crap. Let's take a look at who you are now. What are you doing lately, okay? What are you doing these days? Nobody should care. It's meaningless. And there's one of the biggest problems in the whole goddamn world is everybody running around. How many times have I told you, if you just take the labels out, then 99% of the problems go away. No Americans, no Russians, no Chinese, no communists, no liberals, no conservatives, no right-wingers, no left-wingers, no none of this crap. No Polish, no, anything. So then what do you got to fight about? I mean, I'm sure some people will find something, but if you remove all those religious barriers and ethnic barriers, those things aren't positive. They're negatory. Oh, no, you have to find. In fact, Alex Haley, man, I remember interviewing him on KAT that one day. May he rest in peace. He didn't do black people any service with all the Kunta Kinte crap. That wasn't positive. What does that have to do with what's going on right now? Nothing. I don't see, unlike certain ethnic groups in the community, which I don't want to talk about who they are, I don't see a whole bunch of black people screaming and yelling about we want to go back to Africa, we want our country back. Do you hear that?
No.
I don't hear that. Last I heard, they want to stay in the NBA and the NFL. That's what I heard. All a bunch of artificial, synthetic crap. You're a person, you're an individual, and you're not part of a group. You're not where you were from, where your ancestors were from. It's meaningless. It has nothing to do with anything. Nothing. Including being an excuse, by the way, for antisocial aberrant behavior, by the way. Here's a payphone in Deerfield. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Great.
While I was on hold, for a while here, I'm here in Deerfield driving through up to Boca, and I saw some of the worst scum you've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I see a black woman, I think her name was Shaquanda, and some black guy going in on bicycles on Huppies, getting 40s of OE and some pork rinds at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
What's wrong with pork rinds? Maybe down the Atkins.
Oh, I don't think this one was on the Atkins. I think she was about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
She had a reinforced seat.
Maybe she's on the Skatkins.
Hey, maybe. But, I just got one thing. You're talking about, all these blacks and everything like that, and George says you're racist and everything like that.
I'm not talking about all these blacks.
No,
Don't start getting carried away. I'm talking about black people who behave in a socially unacceptable way that porks my ass off, speaking of pork rinds.
I'm not talking about how George said you were a racist there,
Yeah.
When somebody says I'm a racist, I say, no, I'm not a racist. I own a color TV.
Yeah.
So just remember that fact, and, you're okay.
Okay, thanks. It's on a payphone for that. Ask for your money back. I'd ask for a refund, pal. Material definitely wasn't worth paying 25 or 35 cents. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Well, I just have to take umbrage with a couple of statements you're making. Personally,
I think you're perpetuating racism, even if you're not a racist, which I have a problem with that now.
I'm perpetuating racism. How about the people who behave this way?
Okay, well, let me just...
Or am I just supposed to button my lip and not talk about it?
No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Let's have a conversation right here, okay?
Okay.
Let's just have some dialogue,
I'm
okay?
listening.
All right. I'm 27 years old. I graduated from Florida National University. I got a degree in finance. I graduated with a 3.4 GPA.
Right.
Okay? Yet to find a job in my field. But several of my classmates, Hispanic, white, and otherwise, have went on to find, upstanding jobs. Even when I tried to do an internship, I went to a couple corporations, and all the people that were there were of the non-black persuasion. This has not made me bitter or sour or anything like this. Just turned me on to the fact that, it's a little harder race for me to run. Okay, it'll be a little bit more difficult for me to achieve my goals and what I want to do.
Right.
But what I'm saying is this: things that necessarily don't affect white people one way or the other, like the name thing. Personally, my name is a very common name. I don't dislike my name. I don't like my name. My name came from white people who gave my forefathers' name, and this name has been passed along. It's the name that I was given.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a slight problem with people who name their kids Taquanisa and those type of names.
Yeah.
But guess what? It doesn't affect me one way or the other, so I don't necessarily say it's a bad thing.
Yeah, you're wrong. It does affect you because it perpetuates. You say I'm perpetuating it. It perpetuates the racism because white people look at that and say, "What the hell is that?"
But that's the problem. Why do they have to look at it and say, "What the hell is that?" Why can't they say, "Oh, maybe they don't want those names that white people gave them when they were slaves. Maybe they don't want. Maybe they want to turn the page on that part of their past." Why can't it be like that? Why do you have to make that necessarily a bad thing that they want different names? I don't care for the names myself.
You see, the more you alienate yourself, and I hate to use the term mainstream, but the more you alienate yourself from the mainstream of society, the more you're going to find yourself on the outside of it.
So what you're saying is that we have to be conformists in every part of our...
No, you don't have to be conformist completely, but I mean, the more you want to be nonconformist, the more you're going to pay a price
maybe we
for
want to be nonconformist about things like our name. Maybe we want to work, have good jobs.
Well, let me ask you, what kind of a name is Anthony?
I dislike that name as much as you do, but I'm not going to sit here and make a statement on a radio station about a name. Maybe what the problem is, what's wrong with this guy in the shop who elbows you out of the way? He's an asshole, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And I don't like black people like that. To me, those are niggas. Those people like that are niggas.
He was a young nigger. There's no question about that.
Those people like that are niggas. People like me, upstanding citizens of this society, should not be lumped into the category with those people.
I'm not lumping you in there.
But what happens is, who knows me? You only know me on the radio.
Yeah.
What happens is I'll see some little white lady in the elevator, and she'll start clutching her purse, and I have no use for her purse.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, but you don't know what's in it.
I still have no use for it because it's hers.
Yeah.
Okay, unless she's going to give me a job, she's going to pay me from the checks in her book and her purse, then I'll have use for it. Other than that, I don't have use for a purse.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. This dialogue is not very useful. It's really not.
I don't agree with you at all.
What are you alerting people to? What is the benefit of this conversation on the radio?
The benefit of the conversation on the radio is to point out that we develop attitudes based on our personal experiences.
No doubt, Neil. And there are a lot of white people I've met who are complete and utter assholes.
No question about it.
I went to the apartment in the building of the
I work with many of them. I work for some of them.
So what? But we don't have radio stations. But yes, we do. We have Johnny Cochran. We have Al Sharpton. And when they alert white people to things that they do, then you label them bad things like that. But they alert us to the people like.
Well, let me ask you. What about this guy, the father of one of the kids that got killed?
I have no explanation for that guy. That is the most asinine thing I've heard in my life.
He says that
one of them.
The death of his son was worse than
I have
others.
no explanation for that. But don't try to make that guy like me, because I have no explanation. Listen, his guy's just trying to get money. His son's there. Maybe he's just trying to get money.
Yeah.
Listen, white people do it all the time. They do it all the time. They find any excuse to sue somebody and find a way to get money.
But how come there was only one black kid killed in that
Maybe there was 2 black kids in the school and the other one was absent that day.
You
got to remember that was a pretty
16, only 16 in the school.
How many? 16. Oh, well, maybe they weren't in the library.
Yeah,
we don't go to the library. We don't read.
No, that's where the shootings were, in the library.
Say what?
Maybe they were in the gym.
Yeah, maybe they were in the gym. They got lucky. They were in the right part of the school. I don't know why only one got killed. But the thing is, white people sue people all the time for all kind of things. I mean, woman burned her lip on some McDonald's coffee, sued somebody. We would never sue someone for something like that.
I'm thinking about suing Sabretz because I got this listeria from those bad weenies a couple of weeks ago.
Listen, I listen to you a lot, Neil. I haven't listened to you recently because, like I said, I've been looking for a job. I'm usually out of the house by this time of the day. But today my daughter's sick and I'm home and I'm with her. But I really couldn't turn the radio because it lit something in me. And I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of young brothers out there who have the wrong attitude about how this thing is supposed to go in this society. They really do. And
I can't.
Well, somebody's got to tell them to cut the crap.
Well, I can't speak for all of them. I know they have some legitimate concerns, but they're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I definitely can tell you this: what you're doing is really not being helpful to black people. I don't know what you're doing for the white people out there. Maybe they're patting you on the back behind the scene or whatever. But I can tell you this: it's not shedding a favorable light on brothers like me. That's all I can say, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Good luck, pal.
You have a good day.
Okay. I don't agree. 1056, I mean, maybe not for him specifically, but generally speaking, like I said before, people are people, one at a time. But if you have bad experiences, how about if it was Japanese people? How about if I had like 10 experiences in my lifetime with Japanese people, and 9 of them were really obnoxious and negatory? Huh? But it doesn't happen to be Japanese people. In fact, now that you mention it, I don't think I even know any Japanese people. Maybe that's why I like them so much. 4 minutes before 11 at 560 QAM.
Ed Kaplan knows the scores, starting at 10 till the last game ends. Weeknights only on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
We're the guys who did that song about the girls of summer. And someone begged us that we couldn't do a song that was dumb. I like to kiss my bike with a cypress, squat down like Johnny Bench. I eat eggs sitting on one leg. Is this dumber? Yeah, it's dumber. My bike's wet tight and Abercrombie, bitch. The rumors make me itch. If we did a song that is dumber, we were dumber. I scratched my butt with a nail file, hate linoleum like ceramic tile. People always fit on banana peels. Monty Hall said, let's make a deal. I wear contact lenses underneath my eyelids. That's only rather don't know trick of the kids. Don't get bit by a dog if you think it has rabies. Everything's good to eat, lots of yummy gravy. And just the other day I got a canker sore. Do you think Bill Bradley can beat Al Gore? I think the first rhyme that comes to my head. I'm a big fan of Right Said Fred. I send emails on my brand new computer. People who drive to work are commuters. The other white meat is better known as pork. Singing this song makes me sound like a dork. I can't believe it's coming out my lips. Can't believe it's a hit. Smoke good from the I wrote this song, so it's dumber. I'm not dumber. I'm over out to say I would probably a bitch. Good to say it was a real cinch. To sing a song that's much more dumber.
11:03 at 560 WQAM. We got Hank in the studio today. No, he's at Shula's today. Never on a Monday. Hank and Nat Moore between 5 and 6. 6 to 8:45, the mystery host, because Bookster was on there this morning doing a great job, by the way. Nice going there, Book. With Gildy. So we don't know who's going to be on there. Then the, Monday Night Football. Look at this matchup. Another piece of crap. Seattle and Green Bay. Boy, I tell you, the NFL, it's a joke. It's a joke. You don't even have to watch any of the games. Just look at the matchups. Look at the pairings of the teams. And then look at the scores. Like 13 to 9, whatever the hell it was. 7, whatever that was. Just a joke. See, this last guy, I mean, he sounds like a real good guy, and I wish him nothing but the best. But as much as I try to understand where people are coming from, he could also write a letter to the New York Times and say, oh, your Sunday magazine front page story there about these black parents of their kid that got killed in Littleton, who are suing the Harrises and the Klebold. That doesn't do anything positive for black people either, because it's a very ugly, which he agreed with me on this, that it's unacceptable and these people are crazy, saying that their son's death was more important than the other ones and they're owed more than the other families of kids who got killed. I mean, just an obnoxious thing. So, I guess we're just supposed to go out along and be quiet. Is that it? See, I don't know how to do that. I don't believe in doing that, and I'm just not going to do it. If I have a bad experience, no matter who it's with. It's like the thing at that Thai restaurant the other day. Which, by the way, the wronged party happened to be black in that case, okay? I guess then it's okay to talk about it. Just like the things at Denny's, where they're always constantly getting sued, because Denny's seems to have this habit. If your complexion is a little over 3 on a Richter scale, you seem to be having problems there all the time. At Lenny's or Denny's or whatever that crap place is called. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
Listen, what you're saying, I've been all over the world, and I figure there's no difference between the people all over the place. And what I found is that what you're saying, you can pretty much find with anybody all over the world. You can say it about whites, you can say it about blacks, you can say it about Jews, you can say it about yellow, you can say it about Chinese, or anybody that you meet. So what do you say about that?
But that's not my experience.
That's not your experience. Can you tell me, okay, for example, the black guy that you met in the store, are you trying to find the same thing with a white kid in the store pushing you, or, trying to see?
Never had it happen in my life.
You never had it happen in your life? You ever been to Florida during the spring break and see how the white kids over there behave?
Yeah.
Is there any difference between that and the way the black people behave during whatever?
What do you mean the way they behave? How? First of all, we haven't had spring break in many years in Fort Lauderdale. But when the kids get drunk, whether they're white or black or yellow, they get rowdy. Yeah.
Okay. So what about the kids that you met?
What does that have to do with? There wasn't anybody drunk in this. It was a convenience store. I was buying a can of soda.
No, I'm talking about the one in the hotel that you said that you were staying in the hotel with a bunch of
and those people weren't drunk either. They were just acting like a bunch of antisocial assholes.
So you're trying to say that every single person during spring break in Fort Lauderdale, when we used to have it down there, used to, that they pretty much are not drunk, or they're all drunk. That's why they all act that way.
Act what way?
The way that they used to act. They all used to go around, fighting and pinching each other, or jumping into the pool naked, taking off their tops and things like that. I mean, what's the difference?
I say bring them back.
Really, man, I love your show, but you have to understand, I've been to Europe, I grew up in Europe, and there's no difference.
Have you been to Amsterdam?
Yes, I have.
Okay, now, is what I'm saying about Amsterdam wrong?
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, you have assholes all over the place. And I'm not talking about assholes. You'll find assholes anywhere. I'm talking about people out in public, just about anywhere you go, who behave in such a way that it's very negatory, that it detracts from your experience. Okay, Neil,
and the only people, I've been to Amsterdam probably 60 times in my life, and the only people I've ever found who've been that way are these drug-peddling black island people from the Netherlands, wherever the hell they're from, Hungary.
Yeah, let's talk about Amsterdam.
Am I just making that up?
Most of the drug addicts on the streets, what are they, black or white?
I've never seen any drug addicts on the street.
Never seen any drug addicts?
No.
You got homeless people, all these people shooting drugs and heroin into the ants in the parks, what are they?
In
black or
Amsterdam?
White? Yes.
I don't see that.
Oh, yeah, what about the drug rehab clinics that they have?
Those are way outside. Sir, I've never been anywhere near there. As you know, they take those people in buses, and they're way outside the city.
Okay, what about the prostitutes in Amsterdam? What are the more most of them? Black or white? I mean, I could be offended by anyone.
Well, what does that have to do with that? They're not bothering me. They're not doing anything illegal.
I'm saying that anything that is offensive regardless of whatever it is. It's offensive whether it's white, black, or green.
So maybe I'm just a racist.
I don't think you are. I think that, generally I've listened to your show, and my opinion, generally agrees with yours. And, the only difference is that it's fine if you call it as you say it, but call it as you say it. It's the same in every society.
Okay.
Okay?
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
See, and by the way, here's one that'll make him feel better, okay? I forgot about this. Maybe I'm just becoming a bigoted old sour puss. Is that possible? Let me tell you another thing that happened to me before the trip. Not that this was such a big deal. I mean, I go up there all the time. I go to the airport, and, like I've said before, I go to Miami International all the time. I don't have a lot of problems there when I'm in, unless I'm going over one of those banana boat concourses like American Airlines. Oh, I'm sorry. Like Hand Grenade Airlines. But this time I get my, and by the way, the people at Air Canada, they're the best. They're great. They love me. And I love them. They're wonderful. And I get my boarding pass. I got my e-ticket. I give my passport. She gives me the boarding pass. I go through the metal detector, and I put my bag through the thing, and for whatever reason, maybe they don't like me, they don't like my looks, I look suspicious, like an axe murderer. You know how they have, after you go through there, that special thing, it's, what are they're looking for, like explosives or whatever? What do they call that thing?
Which thing?
Oh, it's like a wand that's got like a
right, the magic wand, right.
It's got a
metal
wand.
detector.
Huh? No, it's like an explosive detector or something, and they take the little piece of cloth, and then they put it in the thing, and then they give you back your bag, and you go on.
Oh, yeah, the sniffer.
It's a sniffer, yeah. Whatever it is. So there are 3 people there. There's the girl running the sniffing machine. There's the other girl that sent me over there. And now here's some guy, okay, who's also part of this operation. And guess what they all 3 have in common? No speaking English, which we're constantly hearing about Miami International Airport. And now I'm standing there while she's dealing with this little, my bag and putting the thing around it and sticking a cloth wherever she's going to stick it. And now they're going, she's looking at me, and I don't know whether they're talking about me or whether they're talking about the weather in Ethiopia. I don't know what they're talking about, but I will tell you, it really pissed me off.
They probably thought you could understand it.
No, they did not.
Oh.
They weren't talking to me, they were talking to each other. In a very rude and unacceptable way. And I thought to myself, now I understand why we hear from so many people who say Miami International is obnoxious to them because of this. Which I've never experienced that before. I've heard a lot of people speak in Spanish, but I've never had that experience before. where I had 3 people holding a conversation in front of me in a way that I found most objectionable and un-effing acceptable. Got it?
Yeah.
Good.
Cut the crap, making us look
Cut
bad.
the crap, Spix. It's just a little common courtesy, just a little. I realize I'm getting a little carried away here. Just be a little bit decent and civilized to people. That's all. Use your brain. Of course, most of the people they hire at that place, you think they got a brain?
No.
I do like that announcement though that comes on before you're landing, where they say, "Be careful when opening the overhead because the hand grenades might fall out and the pin might dislodge." That's only on American. 10 past 11 at 560 WQAM.
Oh, God. Georgie Bush says that his nose is clean and never puts stuff in it.
'Cause he's running for the White House, so he just can't admit it.
Stone drunk, and that's not all. He even downed a few speedballs.
In college, any drug would do. He even dropped some acid, too.
Why won't Georgie just come out and simply say he did it?
He prefers the press would shut their mouths.
But it's none of your goddamn business.
He did more than what you think.
But he washed it down the
Does
sink.
he prefer cocaine to hash?
That's the question that he does.
Can he make his point much clearer?
Like a razor on a mirror.
But he wants us to believe
that he didn't do anything.
Georgie Bush says that his nose is clean and never puts stuff in it 'cause he's running for the White House, so he just can't admit it. Georgie's clean, Georgie's clean, Georgie's clean.
11:16 at 560 WQAM. By the way, Center 1 total pretty good considering all the problems we had there with the discs and with all of these things. 35,974 as we go into the second month, November 1. We got November and all of December. Last year we raised 150 grand. We can do it again this year. NeilRogers.com on the internet. You can order all your stuff through there. You can call Center 1 954-563-3600 for the keychains with all the great buttons and stuff, and the best of CDs and cassettes and T-shirts. And you can also go to Specs for the CDs and cassettes. Specs all over the place. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and Fort Myers. 35,974. Much better than I thought it would be in spite of all the problems. You see, I'm glad that I remember that story about the airport because it goes to show there is a reason to have this dialogue and to bring up these things because when you have rude experiences, that's what shapes your opinions about people. It's just a fact of life. Like French Canadians. Have I ever had a pleasant experience with a French Canadian?
No.
No. Have I had unpleasant experiences? Yes. Many. I mean, okay. All of them. Every experience, every encounter. I mean, the French Canadians to me, see, here we go again, like Denise Potts.
I feel really, really sick.
I mean, there's a moron, you know? There's a real asshole. So the experiences, now the guy that was talking about Europe, I hate to break the news to you, sir, I've been all over Europe. And you're right, there are rude people, there are pleasant people. Like in Germany, for example, many of the older German people are very rude. In fact, if you really press them, they might open up their wallet or their purse and bring out their little card with the swastika on it and put their arm up and do the Nazi salute. So yes, I'm not too crazy about the older Germans that I've encountered, and again because of my experiences. They tend to be very unfriendly and very obnoxious. The younger German people, like middle-aged, they tend to be very friendly and very great. Again, generalizations, but you can only base your feelings about things and people based on your experiences, not based on something that somebody else told you or some stereotype on the nanny or some crap like that. Yeah, if all Jews were like the nanny, I'd drop out right now. You know what I'm saying?
Boy.
If all Jews were like the old Jews in Hallandale and Sunrise,
Boy.
I would turn I'd get my foreskin back. Yeah, I'd turn my bris card back in. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm calling in reference to the comments that were being made on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I on now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Like with black people, we don't have and I'm black myself, we don't have a so-called Negro, whatever you want to call me.
So-called what?
Negroes, whatever you want to call
Black is
it. Yeah, black good? Okay. But, see, we don't have the convenience of having someone that's to segregate our people. Like with whites, you can say, well, that's poor white trash. We don't have poor black trash. We kind of lumped all together. So what?
You are?
Yeah, stereotypes. But the undesirables that are white, that's
Well,
white trash.
what about Southern white people? Isn't there a lot of people who feel that way about most Southern whites are white trash, trailer trash?
No, I don't know.
I think so. I think you're wrong.
No, what you mean wrong? That's an opinion. I don't think it's a right or wrong opinion.
Well, you can have that opinion, but I think your opinion is wrong. It's based on error.
No. But let me ask you another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have racism and God in the same country? Can you have that?
Can you have racism and what?
And God.
God.
Yes. Religion.
What does that mean? God was a racist. He used to give instructions to the Israelis on how to treat their slaves. Didn't he?
Did he?
Of course. If you read the good book, or what's supposed to be the good book, God was a racist.
Well, there's plenty of good books. Everybody got a good book. I mean,
yeah, we just had a good book. The summer book was pretty good.
So let me ask you one more question.
Yes, sir.
But
what does that mean? Can there be racism and God
exist in the same place? Can it exist in the same place?
Well, God is a figment of somebody's imagination.
Well, I'm just wondering because most black people I see always trying to get to heaven, and I'm wondering, that's something that was given to us by someone else. I'm wondering how could that exist when in fact we got racism in a country that promotes, I guess, equality and.
Well, this country doesn't promote equality. I mean, you won't get any argument from me about that. This is one of the most racist countries in the world. There's no
okay, we're on the same page.
Just like the education system in America, the whole thing is based on racism.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, because if I don't own anything that's going to...
See, I'm not saying that black people don't have anything to be pissed off about or any gripes. All I'm saying is don't take it out on me and don't behave in an antisocial way toward me because you got a chip on your shoulder, because all that's going to do is make it worse and perpetuate it.
What you mean worse? How much worse? Worse than what? Worse than, when you say worse than what? What do you mean?
Well, and like turning the clock back like Ronald Reagan did, for example.
Like how? Like what? Instead of we become the working poor, would make a whole lot of sense.
No, I think black people were making some progress, very, very slowly at a snail's pace. But when the right-wingers came along, they turned the clock back about 20 years. Didn't they?
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah.
But let me ask you
that's their game plan. That's what they're all about. They don't like you folks.
What you mean they don't like us? Who is they? The white supremacists? That's what you mean?
No, I'm the right-wing Republicans. They're not too fond of you folks.
No, they have like...
They're not too fond of my folks either.
And who are your folks, man?
Oh, a whole bunch of folks. Jews, fags, all those guys.
Oh, fags?
Right-wingers aren't too fond.
Well, let me ask you this about, since you said something about homosexuality.
Yes, sir.
Is that handicap, sort of like?
A handicap?
A handicap.
First, for a lot of people it was. That's why people stay in the closet. Why do you think so many people are still in the closet today?
Well, I guess the reason I asked that...
See, one thing about black people, you can't hide it. You can't, do whiteface like people can do blackface. You can't hide it. Whereas gay people can stay in the closet and hide it, which... I'm
just wondering, though, because to me it seems like if a person's saying they're gay, or they're saying that they're not who they look like they are, based on what we say a person should look like if they whatever.
Well, what does a straight person look like?
That's what I'm saying. If we're saying what a person, we have a base of what we think a straight person should look like.
But it's based on fantasy, though.
What you mean fantasy?
Just what I said.
Now, it sounds like to me
there are gay people who are just as macho looking as Hercules.
Well, why are some people dressed up like the people who say, for instance, who say they dykes or whatever, why they cut their shirts off and cut their hair and all this kind of stuff? I mean, if you're a man and you look like a woman, but you really say you're a man,
like Dennis Rodman, for example.
Then why don't you just do that instead of trying to make a costume too? You don't have to wear outfit. Just if you say you're who you are, then be that.
Amen. Right. I'm with you, man.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I hear you talk a lot about, being respectful and being courteous and being that. Yeah. But I don't hear that sometimes when I'm listening to you on the radio, man. Your name calling, you this and you that, and you're trying to promote not to do those type things, right?
This is a radio show. This is entertainment.
What you mean? This entertainment?
This show is entertainment. That's correct. Why do you listen to this show? Do you listen to the show to learn how to treat people? You listen to the show because it's entertaining.
And
am I right?
Right, but entertaining could be used to do whatever. It could be used for a good purpose. So
I do use this show for a good purpose. I teach people a lot of things on this show.
Yes, you do.
That is correct. And God bless you, sir. I'll pray for you.
All right.
Okay, there you go. And say hi to Reggie White. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Just a joke. I'm not blaming this guy. This guy's a good guy. He's got nothing to do with Reggie White. Is Reggie White, by the way?
No.
No. He's dark. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. That out-of-town line, by the way, really caught on, didn't it?
No.
That line 9? I haven't even given the number out. Why bother until we get it straightened out, if we ever do. 877-785-NEIL. That's for the entire, Gulf Coast? That's from here to what? The lake? From here to the lake. 877-785-6345. It's toll-free. Greg Reed's paying for it, isn't he?
No.
Well, maybe he'll pay the bill someday. Don't hold your breath. Maybe the same day we come up with the money from that golf tournament. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Pretty good.
You know what? There's one thing I got to say about you, Neil. You are definitely a equal opportunity bigot.
Yes.
You know, and that's a good thing because
I'm a bigot?
Well, no, you're an equal opportunity bigot, and you know everyone gets their fair shot. It's just, you know, I don't think you throw any hardballs at anyone in particular. You give what you get. You know.
I just share with you the experiences that I have. If I sat here and made stories up, then I would be a bigot. I'm just telling you my experiences.
And I agree with you on the point that you say you only voice your opinion based upon your life's experience.
That is right.
You know what I mean? And that's
maybe
with everybody.
Maybe I'm just unlucky.
You know, it's not
maybe
you alone. Everyone's
Canadian.
unlucky. And you know what the worst part is about the whole thing? It's just going to get worse. It's a catch-22. It's a no-win situation. And you got people portraying, you know, aspects of hate. These kind of people, white, black, Asian, I don't give a crap where they're from.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and stick yourself out purposely like a sore thumb with a chip on your shoulder and an attitude, you are perpetrating somebody that is of hate. You are hating.
Right, and that's right.
And it doesn't matter.
That's why I brought it up today, because I had a very ugly experience. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody had got into a brawl about it. Nobody was going to get into a fight with this kid. He was a big, burly, nasty-looking kid. But the fact is, it was a very unnecessary and a very ugly episode. You know, you accumulate these experiences over the course of your lifetime, and it's just one more in the negatory column as far as I was concerned.
Neil, it's just another instance where you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it wouldn't matter if it was you or me or anyone else that was standing behind that guy. This guy was going to be an asshole no matter what.
Right.
It was a no-win scenario. And unfortunately, if you really take a deep look at, like you said, the school systems and people and society itself, it's not going to get better. It really isn't. And it really sucks. And it's unfortunate for kids that are growing up in a world that is just like absolutely portrayed by hate, and it's just a no-win scenario. And all you can do is like, listen, before you go out, tape up and put your gloves on.
Right.
Get ready to go.
Okay, and your body armor, don't forget that.
Yeah, you know, and you have a good one.
And don't forget the bullet detail.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go put on my bulletproof vest and head out to 7-Eleven.
Okay, see ya.
See ya.
Get you a big gulp, okay? 27 after 11 at 560 WQAM. Or go to ETD. That's Joe Rose's. That's my favorite spot.
Jim Mandich talks sports weekends right here on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Lena Horne and Sheriff Clark are dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, New Yorkers love the Puerto Ricans 'cause it's very chic. Step up and shake the hand of someone you can't stand. You can tolerate him if you try.
No.
Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, National Everyone Smile at One Anotherhood Week. Be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Be grateful that it doesn't last all year.
11:32 at 560 WQAM. Here's some good stuff. Just came over the fax machine. India's region of hate waits the Pope's arrival. The mob arrived armed with knives and clubs while the Reverend Joy Punosi addressed 120 missionaries gathered in the small town of Dohad in northern Gujarat, an Indian state where Christians had become almost daily targets for Hindu mobs. The kicks, punches, and slaps that followed were not unusual in the northern part of this country, the so-called Hindu belt, where dozens of Christian churches went up in smoke this year. An Australian missionary and his 2 sons were burned alive. Another priest was beaten to death. Nuns had been gang-raped. Congregations terrorized, and priests made to walk naked through village streets. 300 militant organizations distributed leaflets last weekend warning of a global Christian conspiracy whose aim was the conversion of 50,000 Hindus in India every week. Last week, the Prime Minister apparently persuaded leaders of a number of Hindu groups not to burn the Pope in effigy during his visit and to tone down their protest rallies. Success in reining the zealots during the Pope's trip will indicate whether the BJP can control its militant supporters. Since then, however, Hindu tolerance has been eroded by militants who see the BJP's rise to power as their chance to rid the country of other religions and the Christian missionaries who are backed by funds from the West. Christian converts are 2.9% of India's population, while 15% of Indians are Muslim. Not surprisingly, the Vatican has planned the visit of the fragile Pontiff 79 to minimize public exposure. During his 4 days in New Delhi, he'll venture into the city on 3 short trips, including one to Nehru Stadium, the most vulnerable security site on his urban itinerary. During each of these trips, the Pope will be in his fortified vehicle called the Pope-Mobile. Anxious to avoid a mishap, India has mobilized paratroopers and elite forces to guard the papal routes. That's with an R-O-U-T-E-S. Guarding those papal routes. All right, there's another part of the world where they love each other like crazy. Not to mention the Pakistanis, of course, who have the bomb, like India. 5670560, pound 560 on the 8. Oh, look at this. Here's a mobile in Madison. What? Hello?
Hey, Neil.
Madison, where are you?
Oi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm in Madison, Florida, on I-10, North Florida.
All right. I never knew there was such a place.
Clear. All right.
Great.
And I don't hate anybody except everybody.
Yeah. You and me both.
Bye.
Okay. That was it. Bye. And we're paying for it, and he's still always short and sweet. Okay, from Madison, Florida. Ever hear that?
No.
No. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. We got 4,500 open lines here this morning now, all of a sudden. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, God.
Yes, sir.
Well, because Mr. Simpson was a victim of double jeopardy.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to a mobile in Davie. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Just on your black thing, just reading where the NAACP is asking the commissioner of baseball to find, I think it's Detroit or Minnesota that hired Phil Gardner because they didn't hire a black, they hired this other guy. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, why should
Didn't Don Baylor just get hired to manage, I forget, Colorado or whoever the hell it was? No, I think wherever the hell he got hired. Somebody.
Chicago Cubs.
Cubs, that's right. How soon they forget, the Cubs.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous there.
Well, isn't Don Baylor pretty black last time I saw him?
Last time I saw him last night he was.
Yeah.
But it's this constant beseeching, you owe is falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, nobody owes anybody anything.
Now they want the petitioning in the court in The Hague that they want the reparations from the United States for slavery.
They're petitioning in the court in The Hague?
Yeah. For a ruling
in the Netherlands? Who's they?
The NAACP and the black group.
Well, what is The Hague is the capital of the Netherlands. What does that have to do with slavery in the United States?
That's where the international court is.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it's well, before they get to the Americans, slavery has been in effect for thousands of years. Want to go after those?
How about what if they would sue God for it? God's the one that invented it. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's sue God for it. What do you say? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. We got 4,500 open lines here this morning right now. It's enough to bring tears to my eyes. Very sad. Here's Orlando. Hello.
Hey, Neil, got a spy report for you.
Yes, sir.
On Real Radio.
Okay, we don't care. See, this is the only problem. Every time we talk to people in Tampa, Orlando, nobody cares. We don't care about the radio stations in places where we can't hear them. This is the same. Maybe we shouldn't have even got this line until at least we hear from people outside the rest of the world. Nobody here cares in this town about the radio in Tampa, in Clearwater, in Orlando, about real radio, unreal radio. Nobody cares. Just like this audience obviously doesn't care about any of the things I talked about because I got one call left on the board here. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil. Good morning. How are you?
Okay, sir.
Question. I got the best of Neil for 1999. Is there any chance of getting any back issues for years past?
Yeah, if you call Center 1.
Thanks very much.
954-563-3600.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. You're welcome. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. One thing about the people in this town, they're very thoughtful, very introspective, very, into these things. Aren't they?
No.
See, and for the guy that called in, he was a good guy, too, but this business about, well, it's not productive to talk about these things. Bull crap. It is very productive to talk about them. Because the fact that other people, and I realize that there's the intimidation factor. You have it in the black community. You have all these single mothers where daddy has just vanished. And they're intimidated. They're scared crapless of these big, tall teenage kids that they've got, these big hoods, thugs. And so is the entire neighborhood in a lot of cases. And so everybody just kind of sits back and stays mum. Mum's the word. How about maybe not making so many babies sounds like a good idea? Sounds like a real good idea to me. Here's a great lunch from Atlantic City Subs, by the way, which we thank you profusely for. Maybe that'll kill my listeria. Getting some good food in my gut. Kill that listeria, which I do have it, by the way. Am I going to sue Sabret?
No.
Am I suing anybody over there?
No,
but I definitely have it from those bad weenies. Let me say again, all you people out there in the audience, watch out for the wicked evil weenie. I'm telling you that right now. You get a bad weenie in your pussy, you got real problems, man. Listeria.
I killed Nicole.
Just give me that old-time religion. A little right down and pray. Remember not to do as we do, only as we say. Just give me that old-time religion. Our way is the best. And if you don't believe like we believe, then stone your ass to death. Falwell, Robertson, and Schuler don't wear common can shoes. They're living in a mansion with a big Rolls Royce, thanks to suckers just like you. To be a good Christian man, you have to understand. Sex and knowledge are a sin, so keep your head deep in the sand. Just in that old-time religion and Deuteronomy. Like when your woman is at that time of the month, you make her stand outside for a week. Just give me that old-time religion and the NRA.
All right.
So I can shoot my loved ones in the eye, given the next day. I don't give a crap when it's alive, but abortion's wrong to me. A man should make love to his wife through a hole in the sheet. The Bible is the foundation of the holy Christian man. Despite the fact it was written by men who didn't wear pants, just give me that old-time religion with the Bible to obey and interpret it to validate my ignorance and hate. Just give me that old-time religion and write a check to Benny Hinn. And anybody else who says guns are good and death is a sin.
All right. 1146 at 560 WQAM. So anyway, that guy, that European guy that called before about the prostitutes in Amsterdam and so on, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, has a prostitute ever come out on the street from one of those behind the door and grabbed me by the arm or anybody else?
No.
No. I mean, they will, they'll, as you walk by, they'll open the door, hi, they're cruising for a little business. But they don't come out onto the street. They don't bother you. In addition to which, if you were bothered by that, you wouldn't go to the red light district, which is, very limited number of streets. He knows what I was talking about. He just doesn't want to face up to it, okay? Because there are damn few people in this world who really will tell you honestly and openly, especially in public like a radio show, what they really think. And he's one of them. Here's a mobile in Melbourne. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I want to thank you for the CD that I bought the other day, and thank you for signing it.
And thank you for buying it.
I think you're right on the money with some of these degenerate parts of our society. they irritate you so many times. You walk into the store, bump into you, and don't even say excuse me, and just think that expect you to take it like the rest of us,
Exactly.
But that's all I got on that. I'm out of material.
And have a great day, pal. Like I said, that line 9. Oh, God, is this a great lunch. Atlantic City Subs in Hollywood, we love you guys. Man, they got great stuff. They got great stuff or what? How's that money coming, by the way, from that golf tournament, huh? See, if this was a real town, like Josie Lambeat there, he went through that little thing with OJ, and it was, but if this was a real town where we had anybody with a brain in journalism, there'd be like a little investigation going on to that whole golf tournament, that fiasco, finding out what the accounting of the money was and where did that money go that was supposed to go to Center One. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Just moved to Plantation this year. Lived in Miami for 30 years. Grew up in the South Bronx.
Welcome to the great city, sir.
Well, it's
despite the fact our police chief's an asshole, but Plantation's a pretty good place.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm trying to read and find out about it. But I just want to, I guess, take 2 seconds of your time. I never call into anything. I've grown up in the Bronx. It was Jewish, Italian, Irish, Polish. At that time in the 50s, we had really no black, no Puerto Rican until Adam Clayton Powell came on and brought him in. But, as a kid, I was, I guess, a little close-minded like everybody else. I used to hunt. Being a fag or gay back then meant being happy. And, I joined the Marine Corps in 1964, came out of it. And I guess the bottom line to all of this is I have friends that are gay. I work with people in my industry that are gay. I work with people that come from different levels of the socioeconomic background. And if people are people, it really doesn't make a difference. Right. And the only way to get around this is for people have to stop, really with all this hatred and just, we're very subjective. And I won't hunt anymore. I'll never kill another animal. And, as far as people, I don't care how much they earn. If they earn more or earn less, they're all the same to me as long as they're good. And I guess, I listened to this show. A friend of mine told me to listen to you, and I just started only about a month ago.
Right.
And, you're right on, and I'm going to continue listening. And I just wish people could just look at the good of people instead of just being such
There you go. It sounds really goody two-shoes and corny, but it's so simple,
It is. It's the truth. It's just, I listened to this with the black. I was born in this country. My parents were born in this country. My grandparents came from Romania, Poland, and Russia. And my religion is Jewish. The bottom line is, what am I? Am I supposed to say I'm a Russian American or a Polish? No, I really take exception to this. Black, American.
Just human beings pretty good at that. It's as far as you need to go.
Just be who you are. Anyway, thanks. I enjoy the show very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye now.
See ya. And we'll pray for all of us. 567, Homo sapiens, okay? We're all homos. Sapiens. See, they're going to get nervous about that. The uneducated masses out there. Oh, you see this? He's trying to convert. He said everybody's a homo. That's right. Everybody's Homo sapiens. Except, of course, for the Neanderthals, which here in South Florida we have so many of. Back to Deep South, we got lots of Neanderthals of all colors and shapes and variety. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. We got Hank coming up at 2 from Shula Steak 2. Hank with Nat Moore between 5 and 6. Still don't have nothing. What's going on here with that 6 to 8:45? See, I don't really care, but Clarence came in this morning making a big deal of it since he's PD Junior for one day. Clarence, if you want to be PD Junior, you got to squirt a few, sweetheart. You got to come in here. I don't know what I'm going to do. We got nobody to work this morning. You got to start crying a little bit. Then we might respect you a little. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing today?
Pretty good, sir.
Good. Hey, as that last break was going on, you're talking about the Atkins diet, so I'll start off by letting you know that at Publix they have fish food, 2 for $5. How about that?
Great. Just wanted you to hear.
Hey, anyhow, I stopped by Pizza Lots. I had you sign something. It was awful nice meeting you. But, I was wondering, next time you guys take one of those buttons, you had to have one just mandate stuff on it.
That's a good idea, yeah.
That'd be tremendous.
All right.
Yeah, and the watch cracking.
Uh-huh.
and
excellent idea.
One other suggestion is, because I love the button, but I wonder how much it would be of a problem to make each sound bite to have its own button.
I don't know.
What do you think?
That's something to think about.
Yeah, give it a toss around. So anyway,
don't forget, this is the first one. It's this was you know.
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed it. I thought it was.
You got it on the ground floor. The first one.
Yeah. Well, thanks for signing my card for me, and in closing, will you forge packing?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Hey, listen, they're obsessed with that. What are you giving this guy a look? They're obsessed with that fudge packing thing. They're into it, man. Maybe it's you know, on their Atkins, those low carb fudgesicles. 5, 6, 7. Oh, and by the way, guess what? Chinese kids are getting high. No, in Malaysia, I'm sorry. Different gooks. Malaysians are getting high, the kids, by sniffing. Come on.
Pam.
Elephant dung. Yeah, that's the new trend over there.
Where can we get some?
Probably the Brooklyn Museum. Just go in there and glob a handful right off that painting. Take a sniff, and then just shove it back on there again. You don't want to mess up that painting.
I don't want to look at the paintings. I just want to smell it.
5670560, pound 560 on the ATC. If Andy Warhol would have been smart, he would have had smell-o-vision on his Campbell soup can. If he would have been smart and not whatever he is.
Dead?
Dead, yeah. Kendall, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Great.
Voice from the past, from the old Jeff Stryker brick oven days.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Great.
Listen, I grew up pretty much listening to you as a teenager, and now I'm probably in my early 30s.
Probably.
You're
probably in your early 30s.
Yeah,
but
I didn't turn out gay, or I'm actually pretty conservative. I mean, I'm tolerant, but hey, you know what? You pretty much kind of changed me a little.
Yeah.
You made me, I guess, see things a little different, be a little more accepting. So
right. That's the idea of this program, even though some people out there don't get it, but I convert them anyway.
Yeah, because at first I always pictured you like as Phil Rizzuto. Like your voice sounded like you would look like Phil Rizzuto.
Oh God.
And then when I saw you and heard you, and then when I finally met you, I went there one time. You brought pizza.
I don't even own a scooter.
No, Phil Rizzuto. Oh, the scooter. Right. So you've really been doing a good job. I mean, you keep me busy, keep me out of trouble. I listen to you. I laugh. Make my day go by a little quicker.
Go. Don't say day go.
I did say day go. All right, well, love you.
Okay, see ya.
All right.
Okay. What a good lunch. Like I said, great lunch. 5, 6, 7. Oh, by the way, here's a guy from the Coast Guard.
Of talent and experience up there, and those folks will be making any final decision.
Yeah, get out of here. You know how long they're going to drag this thing on? Months and probably a couple of years. And they'll keep lying to us just like they did about the TWA jet. They lie and they lie and they screw around and they potchkey around. They lie to you. Anybody out there who thinks that your government doesn't lie to you, I got some real cheap land out in the Everglades, man, at $4 million an acre. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Little Havana. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil.
Yes, I am.
Uncle Leo. It's Jorge in Little Havana. I'm a heterosexual Julio who's a homo sapien. Just want to give you props, man. You're telling it like it is as usual. Listen, let me ask you something. All these crackers that are calling up from Atlanta and Melbourne, have they ever heard of anything called civil rights, called civil disobedience? In closing, Neil, God.
Oh. Woo! And you wonder why I come in here every day, huh? After a call like that? That makes you just sit up and take notice, doesn't it?
No.
Ah, come on. Got to admit it. That makes you just sit straight up in a chair and look out the window and say, what's it all about, Alfred? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Maybe I need some erythromycin for my listeria. See, I could go see my new doctor, Dr. Bob, or I could go see my old doctor, Dr. Mark. But you know something? I don't feel like going to the doctor. Because this slowly but surely I got less phlegm. In fact, take a look at this, George. See, it looks like blood, but it's not.
Nice.
It looks like blood, but it's not. Huh?
Bloody snot.
Yeah. Well, it's from down in my throat from the ass end of this listeria.
I'm not so easily grossed out.
Good.
Joe Castello would be running out of
Oh, he's a pussy.
And Adam.
All those auto racing guys, they're a bunch of... Oh, see that guy in the cart? You see that guy got killed again, 24 years old, in that car going 200 miles an hour in that go-kart? Well, not go-kart. What do they call it? Kart racing. What is kart racing?
They're go-karts.
Are they?
The motorized ones.
I guess he isn't going to go anymore. How come we don't have a big thing about him on the news? He was only 24 years old.
He wasn't famous.
Oh. Damn it. It's 11:56 at 560 WQAM.
Jim Bocamper talks sports.
All right.
Weekends right here on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
WQAM. Oh. Cautionary tale.
This fall on CBS, meet a small-town priest who speaks the Word of God and adds a few choice words of his own. It's Father Tourette's Mysteries.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join together this sucking little sucker mother in holy matrimony.
Father Tourette Mysteries, a new kind of family drama from the producers of Chicago Hopeless and NYPD Blue Balls.
Oh boy, oh you f***ing slut, oh you little whore bag monger, you f***ing bastard you.
Sunday this fall. Spend an hour with Father Tourette right after an all-new season of Touchdown There by an Angel, only on CBS.
1202 at 560 WQAM. Boy, these are, after you had the first 20 or 30 of these sandwiches. No bread, though. We're not eating the bread, are we?
No.
No, I'm not. Are you?
Yeah, I ate the bread.
Pig.
Well, it gets so soft with
and the bread, too.
The steak.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Talking about why you hate each other. I mean, this is not a very complicated thing, and I brought it up before about 4 or 5 million times, but it's very important. Because nobody else talks about this. Why is it so complicated? It doesn't make any difference if your grandparents were from Scotland and your other grandparents were from Poland and your mama's from. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. First of all, it's all the luck of the draw anyway. I was going to say the law of the jungle. The luck of the draw. What the hell have you got to do with it? Where your parents and grandparents came from? Who cares? Peephole are peephole, okay? That's it. Except, of course, for the French Canadians. They can't help themselves because they're a little bit confused. Parlez-vous, go away? Please, just go away. Just go back up there, okay? And by the way, stay out of Ontario, please. Maybe Ottawa, but no further west. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line, on the Listeria line. Have we had any women call the show today?
No.
No. That just shocks the hell out of me. That just shocks the living crap out of me. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you that there are a lot of United States citizens who exhibit very poor behavior. And I attribute
What do you mean United States citizens? I'm talking about the whole world.
Yeah, in the whole world.
This episode was in Toronto, and the ones I'm talking about in Amsterdam are not in the United States.
Okay, but
otherwise very civilized country.
I'm a United States citizen, and I want to address my fellow United States citizens.
Yeah, man.
Now, it seems to me the problem is really a lack of education. And it's not because there isn't the opportunity for education, because there's a whole lot of that here. And we are paying for it. When I look at my tax bill that just came in this month, a pretty hefty amount went towards paying for the education of my fellow U.S. citizens.
It's really being spent very wisely, isn't it?
Well, I would like to
Those
see
portable schools and dumpsters that the kids are going to school in, it's working out real good.
Neil, I would like to
It'd
see
be good.
an amendment to the Constitution
Yes.
to demand that our kids leave school educated. And in doing so, we can put an end to all this hostility among the races.
Uh-huh.
Now, I want to bring to your attention a very famous Jamaican.
A famous Jamaican?
Yes, sir. Famous white Jamaican.
A famous white Jamaican?
Correct.
Besides Ganja Ed?
Beside the Coptics.
Yeah, man.
Who came to the United States in 1712.
Yeah.
His purpose in coming to the United States was to educate the fellow slave owners here in the United States. By the way, his name was Willie Lynch.
Lynch? Oh, don't say Lynch.
Yeah, Willie.
Not a good idea.
Willie.
Not a good
How
choice
about
of names.
Slick
No.
Willie? Anyway, his mission was to educate the Virginia farmers how not to hang their slaves.
Yeah.
Because the Virginia farmers were hanging their slaves for running away. And he thought that this was
didn't they know they were hung already?
Sir?
I said that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
In any event, This man, Willie Lynch, his philosophy was based upon strict division.
Yeah.
He told the slave owners that what they should do is to differentiate any characteristics amongst his slaves and play upon it. If the house slave should be played upon.
Well, that sounds like the Bible all over again. He must have been reading a good book too much.
Well, I mean, from those days you had slavery, so it was perfected from that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, this philosopher stated that you must seek out any differences and exploit them.
Mm-hmm.
And you must teach the philosophy to all your friends and relatives, right? And he felt that if this philosophy was taught to all the friends and relatives, by the way, the key point
yes, please.
was for blacks to hate each other, but to love his slave master. And if he thought that slavery would last another 300 years, well, that was 1712.
Well, we're getting
so
close.
we have 12 more years.
Another 12 years and we'll be okay. Okay, thanks, my Jamaican friend. Thank you. Whatever you just said. Oh, it's killing me. Killing me. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, what's up? How are you?
Great.
I'm an FIU student. I'm a major in political science, and I'm doing. My teacher asked me to do my professor asked me to do a term paper on, I guess, the presidential election of 2000.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
take
lovely.
some notos before you start writing it.
So the point is that she's given us like 10 different surveys, and I have to like give them out to people to like fill out to see what their opinions are. And I don't know, I thought it would be pretty cool if you could fill one out. So I don't know if maybe I could give you one, or I don't know how I would get it to you, but or something.
You can send it.
Could I drop it off or somewhere, or like?
Or you could fax it. How's that?
Alrighty. What's the fax number?
305.
Okay.
650. 0198.
0198.
You got it.
All right, it'll take about 10, I guess, minutes to fill it out or whatever. And how would I get it from you?
You mean the fax?
Yeah, like after I send it to you, you fill it out.
We'll fax you back an answer. Just put me a number to fax it to you.
Or I'll mail it back.
Or George will mail it back, one or the other.
All right, thanks
okay.
a lot.
Okay, good luck, pal.
Bye.
Okay, 567, we got, they're out today. I realize it's Monday. Actually, for Monday, we've been doing okay, huh? Yeah, not too bad. Not too great. Especially for a subject like this that could change the course of human events. Don't you think we're going to change the course of human events on the show today?
No.
Come on. Like Mike Siegel does up there at King in Seattle. Saving the world, reforming the legal profession, the medical profession, the goddamn human race. Ending injustice as we know it. Killing 4 good hours.
Oh!
Now we're talking. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. I'm not giving that other number out till we get, get it fixed. No, I'm serious. I don't want to hear about real radio. I don't want to hear about Bob Lassiter, Oh, how did we ever survive those SUN days? God.
Hi, this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Coming soon to a theater near you, every male celebrity who's ever shown their butt, featuring hundreds of A-list actors with one thing in common, a great set of tight buns. Jeffrey Lyons says, I've never seen so many butts before in my life. Roger Ebert calls it a non-stop butt fest. Tom Cruise, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Antonio Banderas, Dennis Franz, Michael Douglas, Brad Pitt, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Bacon, Keanu Reeves, and nearly 350 other butt cheeks. If you only see one posterior this year, make it every male celebrity who's ever showed their butt. Playing soon in selected cities. Check local listing for the rump nearest you.
1214 at 560 WQAM. Oh, here's a fax that says gray not the only blemish on the game. Some stupid crap from the internet that's intended for Hank and not for me. Speaking of the sports experts on this radio station, by the way, see, when you get out of town and you start reading real newspapers from other cities that have like real sports sections, and you find out that everybody in America except the sports mavens in this radio station seem to know that NBC, just like the call we had the day after it happened, remember the guy said he used to work for NBC? And they had the production meeting ahead of time, and that Jim Gray did not do this on his own, that the NBC moguls, the mavens there, are the ones that put him up to the grilling and the crap that he did with Pete Rose. So if anybody on this radio station tells you that Jim Gray did this unilaterally and that barbaric, grotesque performance was his own idea, you can tell them they're full of crap, okay? It's amazing to me. You get out of town here and you start reading and listening. People that know what's going on, and they give you a whole different perspective. And you say, "Aha! I knew that all along." 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T. And by the way, Richie from the Bronx, or wherever the hell you're from, that wants to send your stupid faxes about Big Head Joe Rose, don't waste our fax paper, okay? Richie, the Jets fan, whatever the hell you are, and how they doing, by the way. Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
Good. Hey, about the way people were treated, as far as African Americans go, everybody that came to this country has had a hard time. Like, including the Indians had a hard time. They paid their dues.
Yeah,
the Irish
Indians
had a hard time. The Polish people.
It's harder than hell fighting those guns with bows and arrows, you know?
Yeah, but, they were chased off their land and, property, stuff like that. But everybody that's come here from another country has had a very hard time,
Yeah.
As far as the Indians, and then the Polish people, the Italians, the Irish.
Polish people?
Yeah, the Polish people. But everybody had to pay their dues. So, but you got to get over it and move on.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think sometimes they still carry that. I don't want to call it an attitude, but I don't know what it is. Like a chip on their shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not prejudiced at all, but.
Obviously. Of course, it's kind of harder to identify a Polish person than it is a black person.
Well, I'm just saying as far as nationality and race, goes.
Yeah. Unless it's in a car, because generally the Polish people tend to sit on the right-hand side of the car when they're driving, even when the steering wheel's on the left. Maybe they think they're back in England or something. I don't know.
But I think that they have to let that go. They can wear that Malcolm X shirt and stuff, but if we wear white power, we're considered prejudiced,
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I don't get about the whole thing.
Okay,
I'm not
listen,
prejudiced.
I'm glad you're not prejudiced. Okay, have a great day. Do we believe that she's not prejudiced?
No.
But that's okay. Aren't we all a little bit, 5670560 pound 5. See, why is it that you always have to preface? Why can't you just say, I'm not too crazy about fill in the blank, about and I don't like either, okay? There is no hope, none, zero for this world so long as people continue dealing with people as members of a group. And God, if there's any town in America that suffers from that, you're in it. This is it. You know what I mean? I think you do. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got a big topic for you that I think you want to spend a show on. You ever heard about
the show on?
Yeah. You ever heard about the Illuminati?
Oh, yeah.
The New World Order?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you know about those guys, the Masons.
Yeah, I want to spend at least 30 seconds on that.
You know George Bush was a Mason, right?
The Bilderbergers and the Illuminati and the Masons and the Trilateral Commission, yeah. Okay,
okay.
Call up Shirley Spellerberg, pal. No, I just crawled out from under a rock, sir. I'm very stupid, and I need to be illuminated about the Illuminati by some goofball like you. I want to spend a whole show on that.
No.
I don't want to spend 5 seconds on that crap, okay? Paranoid, delusional lunatics like him. Oh, my God. What did he say? Yeah, that's what I thought. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You see what I mean? You bring up something crucial, and we're talking about your own personal real experiences that color, if you will, I pardon that expression, color the way you look at other people and your attitudes about groups of people and life in general, which we have to strive to overcome. Whatever the hell I just said. And what do I get? Well, the Illuminati and the Bilderbergers and the Trilateral Commission and the Masons and the, okay, great. How's Perry Mason doing, by the way? Seen him lately?
No.
Yeah, I hear he was in a wheelchair and then he died. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. I just wanted to say I was going to call you on Friday and ask you, why you love Canadians and hate all these other people. But
why I what?
Our Canadian lover, and hate all these other people. But
that's English-speaking Canadians.
Right. But when Greg Moore died yesterday, he was my favorite race car driver, and he was a Canadian, and it really hurt.
Oh my God!
Excuse me?
I said.
Oh my God!
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it just made me realize that people are people, and it doesn't matter.
How come he died and they didn't make a big sting about it like Payne Stewart when he died?
I was going to say that too. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they were both athletes.
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly, and it's just a bad world out there that a golfer can die in
And it's on the front page of the newspaper.
Right, and then a race car driver dies and nobody hears about it, So.
Unbelievable.
I just wanted to say George is an idiot. Cars are open wheel race cars that go about 250 miles an hour. They're not little play toys, and he needs to know what he's talking about before he says something.
Okay, pal.
Thanks.
Good luck to you. I'll pray for your soul. 5670560, pound 560. So anyway, this black kid elbows in front of me and says, I'm sorry, in the convenience store. And the young Chinese lady in there who is working behind the counter says, oh, don't say anything. We have this all the time. We have such problem. We have such problem with them. What do you think she meant when she said them? Huh? No. What do you think she meant when she said them?
Young men.
Young punks? Yeah, young, obnoxious Canadian white punks, huh? How's it going, mister? Have a nice day, eh? Yeah. Those young Canadian men, real famous for being impolite, aren't they?
No.
No. Too goddamn polite. Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello?
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Spy report. Your friend over there, Rush, is talking about the millennium and what...
Okay, great. We don't care. Don't care about Rush. We don't care about Real Radio. We don't care about the Illuminati, sir. We don't give a frying crap, okay? Yeah. A rat's ass. A flying, yeah. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, I'm driving home from the airport last night and listening to this station, and God only knows why. What else am I going to listen to? And we got the CBS Sunday Night Football on there. Who the hell are those guys? The Tampa Bay Detroit game? And they got this guy doing rock and roll football. Hey, he's at the 25, the 20. I've never heard anything like it in my life. And then the one guy is trying to make some kind of a blue comment, whatever the hell. And the other guy says, oh, well, as they say in Tampa, buck an A. On CBS Radio Sports in the middle of a football game. Buck an A. Yeah. And, of course, we carried it. Oh, by the way, Orlando, the big... Oh! We'll be doing 6 to 8:45. Are you impressed?
No.
No, he's okay. He's not as big in the industry as Boog. Here's the Gables. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
You know how before you were talking about being in the Netherlands? I was in the Air Force. I was in the Netherlands for 2 years. Those are the nicest people. I've never seen any racism over there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment. I mean, I think they're very nice people over there. I mean, they might be drugged out of their heads. That might be
they're
why.
not drugged out of their heads. What, did you see a lot of people staggering around in the street?
Actually, no, I didn't.
No.
They're all very nice, sweet people. Even the old people.
Right.
The black people, everybody. They're all, I mean, I've seen, they have a lot of Indonesians. They're marrying English people over there.
They're from all over the world.
All over, I guess it's like a free-loving country.
That's correct.
I mean, I really like that. I wish I could go live there again. I mean, it's expensive to fly there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really liked living there. That was my favorite spot I've ever been in the world.
How do you like that?
I miss it. I just wanted to tell you that.
Me too. I miss it too.
Can I just tell you? I want to tell you. You know how you always play those songs right before when you come back from commercial?
Yeah.
I have a song you'd really like. It's about a-holes.
Yeah.
It's called "What My Balls Itch" by Third Base. I thought you'd really love it.
Uh-huh.
Is there a way I could send that to you?
Yeah, send us a cassette.
How can I do that?
George will give you the address.
Okay.
Hold on. And drop one testicle in an envelope. 5670560, or we'll just send you some of that blue stuff that they use to kill crabs. We'll send you some of that blue liquid. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. I got a bust of chops a little bit about this I guess the black emphasizing. I used to be from Washington, D.C., and I moved to live in Southwest Florida now. And there was a point where I felt like I was getting hassled by blacks and live in D.C. and so forth. Well, I come to move to Fort Myers, and they were just replaced by white trash. You know, I mean, the same obnoxious, impulsive behavior was being. I think it's always going to be there, whether there's black folks or white folks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I just don't see the value of particularly ragging on black folks. I mean, it's just trash is trash.
Well, what do you mean particularly ragging on black folks? I don't understand what that means. I'm just telling you my personal experiences.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, I've had the same experience with white trash, with them, butting in line and being butting in traffic, or,
Well, in traffic, I mean, you're over there on the West Coast. In traffic down here, at least, they're all consistent. They're all assholes.
Uh-huh.
But I don't see trailer trash butting in front of me in line.
Well, I mean, if you're living in Fort Myers,
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, well, beautiful.
Well, how many black people do you have over in Fort Myers? Like
well,
3? 4?
It's weird. They keep them. They're in a place called Boo Town.
In what Boontown?
They call it Bootown, and
I
it's
see.
on the other side, literally on the other side of the railroad tracks, Fort Myers.
Boontown?
Bootown. I swear to God, that's what everyone calls it, and I'm sure it's a slur of some kind, but
no.
yeah,
Not in Fort Myers.
yeah, but it's very segregated here. By the way, I'm half Canadian, and I was going to ask you a question about something.
Yes.
How come, like, when you go from like Maine to like New Brunswick, or you cross over into or New York into Ontario or whatever, all of a sudden people stop looking mutated almost immediately. Like you have mutants, missing teeth and stuff, scraggly hair.
Right.
And you cross over into Canada, and all of a sudden people look healthy again.
That's right.
Why
I was
that?
sitting in Pizza on my stool yesterday having a great slice of pizza, watching all the beautiful people on Yonge Street, and I was thinking to myself, all right. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't know what that is.
Because it's just the Canadian.
It's just like the same thing when you cross that border from Niagara Falls, New York, into Niagara Falls, Ontario. You stop hearing all the gunshots, too.
All right, well, thank you, Neil.
See you around, eh?
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Something to think about, something to ponder. See, one thing I figured out about most of the people here, they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. Kind of like George. Very parochial. Because he's a schlepper. He can't afford to go anywhere real. So he goes to North Carolina. That's his idea of being a world traveler.
Going again next week, too.
Oh, great. Have a good time now.
Get away
Y'all
from
come back.
everybody.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. God, if I could just get the last gallon of this phlegm out of my system, I'd feel great.
Ed Kaplan knows the scores. Starting at 10 till the last game ends. Weeknights only on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I just want Peter Alice to know that all of those American governments on the Ryder Cup team, we are Chinese too. Thank you very much.
It's 12:30 at 560 WQAM. Another great mystery continues. This is the most, something? That bitch down there on the second floor. I've worked with, all kinds of people over the years. She is the most disgusting, subhuman piece of turd I have ever encountered in my life. Bar none. Bar none. Screw Ann Winnick, our sales manager. She ought, she ought to be managing the fantasy league because she lives in a fantasy world and makes it up as she goes along. Well, we just found out. George just had a call from our friend Carol over at Center One about this money from that golf tournament. You know, the one where somebody said in the paper, I don't want to mention our general manager, Greg Reed, that some of the money went for OJ-related expenses. And so Carol, evidently, for about the 400th time, is calling over here trying to find out when Center One is going to get whatever the proceeds are, the $5 or $6 or whatever might be left over from that golf tournament, which we were told, it was represented to us, was to benefit Center One. Tracy Caracito came in, sat right over there in his ass on that side of the table. We didn't want anything to do with it, and they insisted, it'll be great, this and that. Also, we were assured O.J. Simpson would not be involved in this, even after the offer was made. We said absolutely no. And then all the scandal, all the places all over America where the famous pictures from the Astor restaurant, and all the other fallout, all the hostility, all the aggravation. Now you pick it up and describe for us the phone call that ended, by the way, with a slamming down with a hang-up.
So Carol calls just now.
Carol from Center One.
Carol from Center One, with her voice wavering and quavering, obviously very upset because she just
doesn't deserve, by the way, to take any crap from Screw Ann Winnick or anybody else at this make-believe radio station.
Because she's having a conversation with Luann about the money and everything like that. And the story now is that Center One won't be receiving much money, or not very much at all. I forget what the exact quote was.
What does that mean?
It means you're going to get 2 bits
squat,
3 bits, 4 bits.
The big fat. Yeah.
Because supposedly the lion's share of the money, or all of it, or some of it, or most of it, or whatever, went to the American Cancer Society because of our coworker salesperson who died of cancer previous to the event.
Coworker salesperson from Power 96, you mean?
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Good person.
Yeah. I don't think I knew him.
No, very nice guy.
Right.
And apparently that's where the lion's share of the money is going, is in deference to this person, even though no one ever told Center One or us.
Or any of the promos, or any of the people playing in the golf tournament, or anybody else.
And the juicy part is
that
if Carol makes a big stink about this, Luann is going to show you the pictures of Carol posing with football players, including OJ, at the golf tournament, and turn you against Carol and burn her at the stake.
Game-playing bitch. Game-playing bitch, Luann. You've been hanging on here all these years, playing games, pitting this one against that one, sending that jackass that day to do that shouting match on the air here, set that all up. You see, if you wonder, by the way, why we don't have any place to do the next Center One appearance this month, which is supposedly 12 days from now. See, I used to do 2 a month, every year, all the years, IOD over here. And then we decided because it's on the internet now, because it's in all the, last year was in all the border stores, now it's in all the spec stores, it's not necessary to do all these appearances. So we would do the Pizza Loft one, and 1 per month, which I donate my time, and we do a good job at them, and that would be it. Do we have any location for this one coming up? No. I'm going to tell you right now, just like I told you before. See, there's one down. That's in the office right across the hall there. There's one down and still 2 or 3 to go. The chigger's in a woodpile in this place. And she's the biggest chigger of them all right down there on the 2nd floor. That's Screw Ann Winnick. Don't even think about coming up here again and looking me in the face with your bull crap, okay, sweetheart? Threatening Carol from Center One. She's going to show her pictures. The chances of you turning me against Carol or anybody else on a scale of 0 are minus infinity. You disgusting, professional, troublemaking bitch. How do you like that?
That fucking bitch.
Yeah. And how come all of a sudden at this late date they come up with a story the money went to the American Cancer Society? How many weeks is this? That was on, what was it? That was like a month and a half ago.
September 26th.
6 weeks ago. Did anybody say anything about any money going to the American Cancer Society or any other charity?
No.
No. This is the first anybody has heard of this story. Underlining the story part. When the people were invited to participate in that tournament, were they told about this?
No.
When we were promoting it, all of us on the air here on QAM, when we were promoting what this tournament was supposed to be about, were we told that?
No.
No. Was it ever mentioned once?
No.
By anyone?
No.
No. It's not going to work, honey. Just like all the little trips into the studio here to tell me about all the avails. This show is sold out. And then, of course, avails keep showing up like today, every day on the log. And then you blame Phyllis and it's this one's fault and that one's fault. Here is America's number one. Forget about Wink Martindale. Forget about Dick Clark. Forget about Bob Barker. Here's America's number one game player, Screw Ann Winnick, our sales manager, who thinks that by threats and intimidation, she's going to maneuver and manipulate people around. The days of your manipulating anybody except maybe your friend,
Roy.
Those days are over, honey. You don't manipulate anybody on this show. What an unbelievable, unacceptable bitch. And the reason I'm going nuts on the air about this is just to give the listeners again another taste of what we've been up against, trying to do the same thing we've been doing for years. On INZ, on Zeta, on IOD, under Cox and Paxson, no problem at all. Raised, I would assume, millions of dollars by now for charity. And all of a sudden this year we got all these problems because we got professional troublemakers like her sticking their finger in the middle of this project, interfering. Now, that's not the same Screw Ann Winnick that back when we had the hurricane, Floyd. Remember with Hurricane Floyd? And I wondered how come we weren't getting any information from the sales department about openings and closings of places like Pompano Park and other places like that. This wasn't the sales manager who told the salespeople, oh, don't call up any of the clients, we'll get some cancellations. So that we couldn't pass the information along on the air, is it? That I heard from about 15 different people in the sales department. See, maybe you're fooling the big cheese in there, the head honcho. Maybe you're fooling a man that keeps scratching that hole in his head. You're not fooling us here on this show, honey.
No.
Not for a minute. Troublemaking, psychotic bitch number one. Lou Ann Winnick. The real chigger in the woodpile. A disgrace to the human effing race. Don't ever want to see your face in this room again. Ever, ever, ever would be too soon. Never would be too soon. Because if you told me it was raining, I'd run to the window and look outside. I'd stick my thing out the window just to make sure. And by the way, honey, speaking of pictures.
This is 560 QAM.
The hurricane
fucking blow.
UAM is not a happy place.
No.
It's a goddamn crappy place. Where everybody hates the sight of your face. UAM is not a happy place. It's a sinking big disgrace. UAM is not a happy place. Jock worshippers who love OJ, backstabbing reprobate. The equipment always breaks. It's a hot and smarmy place. UAM is not a happy place. A real depressing place. UAM is not a happy place.
Oh, man.
17 till 1 at 560 WQAM. We got Hank from Shula's coming up at 2. Oh, this is just, I'm going to, seriously, at IOD we used to talk about my writing a book, but nobody would believe it. Here they'd have me committed. I'd be in one of those real small cells like Renfield, like going like that, you know. Yeah. In fact, I'm already ready to do that. We're in or out of the cell. How anybody, I got to hand it to you, Screw-Ann, how anybody could take something as simple, and you wonder why 2 years ago when we were in limbo I was getting paid off not to work, and they didn't want to do the Center One thing? They're incompetent. They're not capable of doing anything right. But how anybody could take something as relatively simple that we've done so many times before and screw it up like you have, Screw-Ann, and stick your nose in there, and I have to hand it to you. I don't think we've ever worked with anybody who could match this. Have we?
No.
No. The games and the lies and the manipulating and the phone calls back and forth before the tournament, by the way, you knew, Greg Reed knew, everybody knew that OJ was coming. Not that anybody lied, of course. You do understand that. Nobody lied at 2 a.m. And so now as they scramble desperately to cover their ass with a story, now it's the American Cancer Society that got a check. Well, you know something? Let's find out how much. Let's find out. Let's contact the American Cancer Society and find out how much they got from that golf tournament. And why is it here 6 weeks after that golf tournament, if they were able to give a lot of money to them, why is it that we still don't know? And how was it determined, by the way, how much went to them and how much went to Center One, which was supposedly going to be the beneficiary of that golf tournament? How was that determined? Did they pick it out of a hat? Did they draw lots? I mean, not very much. That's a great line. Seems to me I just heard those same exact words from Greg Reed on Friday when I asked him about the proceeds. Not very much. Same words, same verbiage, not very much. Well, what is not very much? Is it like $6? Is it $142? Is it the big... Oh! What is it? What's not very much? Let me say it again. There needs to be an investigation into that whole episode. There needs to be some kind of situation where people are made accountable for perpetrating what I consider at this point to be a big, fat fraud on us, on Center One, and on those people who paid to participate. Not to mention the people of Lago Mar. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. A couple things. I'm really sorry they fouled up that tournament. What was the perceived benefit of having OJ there from those people that invited him?
You asked them.
Okay, because it sounds like it just would have been a big negative. I mean, why would they even consider it? But
because they're assholes, because they're game players, because they're a bunch of little children, they're game players. They were going to show me
Did OJ
that whether
bring
we wanted
money?
them. What?
Did OJ bring money to it?
No, of course not.
Well, then
nobody even knew.
really
How could he
screwed
bring
up.
money to it when nobody even knew he was going to be there?
You ought to find out who the heck it was and get him fired somehow. But anyhow, I called because of there were other things, two things that came up. One thing on the black-white issue. I have a joke, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
No. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jamaican fun again.
What do you mean again? You called earlier?
Yes.
Today, no. You know, once a king, always a king, you know? That's it. So now we got two lines left on the board because we got the one guy who wants to do jokes, and then we got the Jamaican guy who wants to have his own show, okay? Go on KAT, okay? They have a lot of Caribbean shows on there, pal. Get your own show. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT. In my life, I have never been associated. I come to work this morning, I get off the elevator up here on the 3rd floor. The door opens and I look. I don't know why I should be surprised. This piecemeal construction project that's been going on for years and years and months. Is any progress being made?
No.
Anything happen?
No.
No. The ceilings, all the wires and all the insulation still hanging down from the ceilings. The walls are still unpainted. You're not fooling anybody, okay, Greg? You're not fooling anybody. You're a wannabe. You're make-believe. You're ersatz. And yes, I'll take the money, and I'll even take the $200 for that phony baloney employee of the month crap, okay? But you had a closed little fraternity here all those years. Why in the world did you want to bring somebody into it who wasn't going to operate that way, huh? For the life of me, I can't imagine. Even though in that memo on Friday, he says the rest of QM is a ratings disaster the rest of the day, which I think is a little bit of an exaggeration, but nevertheless, those are his words. But I guess they thought they could get me to play in their sandbox. Did it work?
No.
Is it going to work?
No.
No. You see, Screwan, maybe you think that having pictures of other people is very effective to blackmail people and to silence people and to play games with people. Maybe for other people it works. For us, it don't play, okay? We're not impressed. You're not fooling anybody. And I'm going to make sure before I finish, you won't fool anybody in this market if I have to talk about this every day for the next 2 years, 11 months. Because it's a disgrace. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil, how are you?
Pissed.
I know, I could tell. Hey,
Pissed.
2 years and 11 months, but who's counting, huh?
To the day.
How many minutes?
Let's see. 2 hours and 49 minutes less.
Okay. Hey, just wanted to bring something to your attention. I don't know if you saw the Scum Sentinel yesterday. They reported a trade between the Colorado Avalanche and the New York Islanders.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me tell you the real trade. The real trade was between the Ducks and the Islanders, Ted Drury for Tony Herkus. They reported it as Chris Drury from the Colorado Avalanche, who happens to be his brother, as the trade for Tony Herkus of the Islanders, formerly of the Dallas Stars. That's official reporting for you.
Great.
That's it?
And by the way, you know the big brawl that they had in the Panther-Ottawa game the other night?
You call that a brawl?
Well, I didn't see it. But I mean the elbowing incident with Danina. There was more about it in the Toronto papers, needless to say, because when I came back last night, I caught up with the local papers. There was much more about it up there than there was here.
Well, here's the thing.
What a surprise.
Deneen went into a Claude Lemieux type turtle dance with that, where he kept hiding the rest of the game and wouldn't go with anybody. I mean, everybody.
But he's right about Terry Murray, though. Terry's got a history of doing crap like this. Instead of worrying about, the game was scoreless after one period. Instead of sticking and getting down to business and maybe winning a game, they focused on being a bunch of assholes. Pointless.
He did as Steve Spurrier and was sitting behind the bench just shaking his head and almost crying.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's where bluff was.
It was pretty pitiful.
Okay, thanks for the good news.
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a shameless request?
Uh-huh.
The English lesson for Greek.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line is the plot. Keeps thickening here at QAM about that golf tournament. And the best part of the deal, the best part of the whole thing was, did we want it?
No.
Did we need it?
No.
Did we want anything to do with it?
No.
No. We don't want anything to do with it. It was somebody else's brainchild somewhere in this building. And as far as I'm concerned, you can take your golf tournaments and... That's right. That's what you can do with it, okay? I was sitting there in the airport yesterday in the first class lounge in the Air Canada Club, whatever the hell they call that thing. And instead of having NFL football on there yesterday afternoon, what do they got? That goddamn golf tournament. And I'm sitting there watching these men who are sitting watching the screen. And I'm thinking to myself again about people who watch golf. Not people who play golf to go out and get some fresh air, a little exercise. People who watch golf. And I'm thinking to myself, how sad. Here's a mobile in Lake Worth. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to figure out why the state attorney's office can spend all the time and effort in prosecuting adults for having sex, but they're not looking into this kind of crap.
There ought to be an investigation. I'll tell you that right now.
Should be.
This is a scandal.
I mean, that's fraud, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's disgusting.
And now you wonder why they thought for sure that I was going to sue them or something. They took some line that I said in a moment of anger, and they assumed that they were going to get sued. Maybe somebody ought to be suing them.
I agree.
And have a great day.
You too.
I mean, see, Center One, they're in a catch-22. They're not in a position to sue anybody because here's a station that's going to raise them a ton of money, which is a big part of their budget for the whole year. So they're kind of like stuck in the middle, in spite of the fact that they're being, they got somebody over there who's being threatened and practically blackmailed into silence, which, nice going, Carol, she's not going to be silent. Somebody wants to know, inquiring minds want to know, is how much is not very much? Is it $4? Is it $172.80? Is it $5.5 million? What is not very much? And like I said, 6 weeks later, if they could come up with an accounting of how much money went to the American Cancer Society, mythically, out of nowhere, how come we can't come up with an accounting, especially if it's such a small amount? You know what I'm saying?
Only $50.
Probably less. How come we can't figure that out? Screw Ann. Or haven't you guys got a cover story for that yet? See, this is what goes on here. This is QAM policy. Cover story. You cover for me on this, I'll cover for you. Let's sit around and make up all these stories. That's the way it works here. And, of course, she's like the pivot man. Screw Ann. She's the pivot man. And, of course, our boss, he's the willing co-conspirator. Because there's a lot of, pictures. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
A couple things. Number one, I hate to regress, but the black and white and racial issue.
Yeah.
You aren't going to alleviate prejudice. It's in our genes. Everybody's prejudiced about one thing or another. But what I really hate is when somebody uses their own race to cover up for their inadequacies. And they do that a lot. They say, well, I'm not here because I'm Cuban, or they won't advance me because I'm not black. They never think that maybe they're just not smart enough. And I pointed out two races. I hate to do that, but people that use their race or their religion as a cover for their own lack of knowledge and saying that it's prejudice, that hurts their race more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And the other thing on the golf tournaments, I've been involved probably in about 20 golf tournaments on the management end of it.
Yeah.
And the smallest one that I've ever been involved in netted about $4,800.
Right.
And a mediocre one about $60,000. If that gives you a barometer.
Well, I mean, I don't have any barometer because I have no idea how many people participated. I know that they sold out. They had like one or two foursomes to go into the last day, and I think they, got people to sign up for that. So I think that the thing was pretty well sold out.
A good tournament with...
But nobody can give us an accounting. I mean, how can you hold a thing like this that's ostensibly for charity and nobody is accountable and nobody has any dollars or anything?
A mediocre tournament with 20 foursomes and a whole sponsor for each hole and a couple little major sponsors, you're talking probably $40,000 should be a net at the end of the tournament.
We'll even cut it in half, even $20,000. Where did it go?
Sure, exactly. And then, then the charity ends up with a bad name, too, because they tack their name on it.
Right.
People
That's
get
right.
money and it doesn't go to them.
You're right.
And then they turn around and...
Well, I'm going to make sure that somebody around here contacts the American Cancer Society, and then maybe we can come up with that dollar figure and find out just how much the station donated to the American Cancer Society.
Yeah, you can also go through United Way, because they got to give an accounting to them.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. It just keeps getting thicker and thicker and more objectionable and more unacceptable. But see, Screw Ann, you keep coming up against these people now who just won't play your game anymore. You can't intimidate them, you can't blackmail them, so you hang the phone up on them in a very professional way. Slams the phone down on our good close friend Carol from Center One. Only at QAM. 1256 at QAM.
This is 560 QAM.
It's not just the 1 to 2 hour, it's a phenomenon.
And now, Language Lab, the show that teaches you a foreign language in less than 60 seconds. Today's lesson, Greek. Lesson 1, strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie.
Lesson 2, apple pie.
Apple pie.
Lesson 3, Pumpkin pie.
Punky pie.
Customer, what kind of pie do you have? Answer.
Apple pie, strawberry, and punky.
Language Lab is a public service and may not be copied or authorized for resale. Thank you.
And let me ask you, what are we going to do about those damn Greeks? I'm sorry. It's a minute after 1 at 560 WQAM. We can agree on this. There are good black people, good white people, bad Chinese, all kinds of people. There's good and bad. There's only one evil Luann, though. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Only one. The chigger in the woodpile. The evil one, the Antichrist. Remember when they used to burn the witches at Salem?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe not such a bad idea, you know? Can you imagine how much? We could probably make the money that we got screwed from the golf tournament and then some. By have a public, how about if we had a public witch burning? Where could we do it? Huh?
Parking lot.
Right out in the parking lot. Sounds good. Let's pick a day. And by the way, everybody we're talking to here in the building agrees on one point. All of the money, it was represented to us and to the audience and everybody who participated. All of the net proceeds from this golf tournament were earmarked to go to Center One. Period. End of discussion. So any other lies, any other cover-up attempts, any other desperate stories that you try to make up down there on the second floor, you know what? They're going to go over like a pregnant pole vaulter in the heat of July. Like trying to sell halava at the North Pole. That's how they're going to go over. Not too good. So maybe come up with a better story. How does that sound? Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello.
Neil God.
Yes, sir.
I think the word fraud is what comes to mind.
Fraud is exactly what comes to mind. And by the way, this is the same Luann Winnick who brought the entire sales department to eat for free at Pizza Loft last Tuesday night. And Jeff Cohen's got to get a couple of trade-out spots to pay for it since he don't want to, feed the whole goddamn sales department. This is the same smart-ass bitch that brings our whole goddamn staff out there last Tuesday.
And
who's
maybe
laughing at us.
And maybe instead of harassing, a fine organization, your problem is, Neil, that you get the listeners who love you personally involved with these things. And I'm now proud. I've always been a proud supporter as long as you have of Center One.
Right.
And I just think it's ludicrous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a disgrace. I mean, they can't even say, okay, well, it's $1,000 or make up some kind of a story and write a check. They can't even give an amount. 6 weeks later, they're still so busy trying to cover their ass, and the general manager is saying for publication in the newspaper, some of it went to OJ-related expenses, whatever the hell that means. And now she comes up today with a story about, it went to American Cancer Society because one of our salespeople died from cancer, and don't say anything about this or I'll show Neil pictures of you with OJ and the football players.
And instead of harassing the
that sounds like blackmail to me, Luann.
Sure does. Instead of harassing the nice people at Center One, maybe she could help to make sure the spots that y'all are running are current. Y'all ran one about an hour and a half ago for an air conditioning, and the special deal is going on through October 3rd.
Yeah, so, there you go.
So, we love you, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Or maybe take care of where we're going to be doing our next appearance for Center One in November, on November 13 on Saturday. Since we're only doing one per month, should be like falling out of bed in the morning. It should be so easy. Can she do it?
No.
No. You're not fooling anybody, honey. You're not fooling anybody. Even little kids in a sandbox. Not your sandbox, in their own sandbox. Even little kids are laughing at you. With a kind of phony, baloney, desperate. Again, just like you said on Friday, the dog in the yard trying to cover up the tracks. Running about 15 feet away from the pile of crap and trying to kick up a little dirt and cover it up. That's what you're doing now, guys, but it's not going to work. Because I'm calling right now here on the air today for a full disclosure of all the monies that were raised at that golf tournament at Lago Mar. Don't you think everybody's got a right to know about that, including the public at this point, since this is a public disgrace? There needs to be a public accountability of all the revenues that came in. What were the expenses? Who was paid what? Where did the money go? And how much is going to go to Center One? 567-056. It's amazing. We were rolling along right up until that phone call from Carol came in, having a pretty good show here for Monday. Life was rolling along as usual. And now, once again, here comes the impediment to our success. Sticking another goddamn roadblock in front of your face. What can we do to screw you up? What can we do not to help you out? What can we do to make life more miserable and more difficult? You obnoxious bastard, you, who doesn't want to play games with us. Oh, yeah. See, that's why George and I, we're the bad guys. We don't want to hop in a sandbox and get a little pail and shovel and play the games. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What you need to do is really turn up the heat on people like Screwan and whoever else that put this together.
Yeah.
When the golf tournament was being put together, I am sure there was something in writing that went out to the businesses that wrote the checks for the foursomes of whoever played, and usually they get to put their names up on a banner or something around the golf course as being one of the contributors for this charity. If one of the people, one of the businesses that actually wrote one of those checks, someone who was damaged, someone who would have standing in a lawsuit, all they have to do is get their lawyers, and most of these businesses have lawyers on retainer. It's not going to cost them anything. And actually, file something against QAM, and then that would bring the heat on Screwan.
How do you like this answer that both our general manager and now our sales manager continue giving as part of the stonewalling process? Well, how much did they actually wind up with? Not very much. Well, what kind of an answer is that, not very much?
First of all, anything that has to do with a charity like that has to be disclosed, and usually if it is in writing that all of the proceeds are going to a particular charity, they have to do that. They cannot misrepresent. And like I'm saying, that's why one of the people who actually wrote a check has to be the one that has to file a lawsuit or a complaint or something, and then that will turn up the heat.
See, the thing that's disturbing to me is that in the beginning, when this OJ thing first came up and there was all the negative feedback, I had a few of those people calling. But here we are 6 weeks later. I don't hear from anybody who participated in it. I don't hear from any of the people at Lago Mar anymore. And it's like nobody else seems to care about making this thing right.
Most of the people, I guarantee you, that wrote a check had no idea that scumbag O.J. Simpson was going to be out there.
Well, nobody had any idea. Nobody knew about it except the inner core
assassin. Screwan had to know.
Oh, she did know.
Of course she had to know.
And so did Greg Reed, and so did Sam. Those were the people who knew. If maybe any, maybe one or two others.
And those people, they all had to know. And for them to say that they didn't know is the biggest,
lie.
It's the
bald-faced lie. Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, get someone that actually wrote a check that was damaged, that had their name linked to this piece of crap, O.J. Simpson. They were damaged, and therefore, I think they have the cause of action.
I agree with you. I'd be glad to testify for them too. By the way.
Okay, thank you, Neil.
Thanks. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. 9 minutes after 1 at QAM.
This station stands for nothing.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rambo 4 and 5. How are you? John Rambo's still alive. I want to make movies 4 and 5. My life ain't going great. Planet Hollywood's broke. Unfortunately, I speak like I had a stroke. First blood came in 82. That's when I hurt my penis and it never ever grew. Rambo 2 was in 85 late. Rambo 3 was in 88. Shooting and looting and tooting. My gun. I did not make this movie with my son. His name is Sage. He was in Rocky 5 and Daylight, the tunnel movie. A little bit of cash is what I need. I gotta get a loan from Apollo Creed. I gotta have another hit movie or a Broadway show like Jenna Heath. I guess nobody ever saw Copland. It was stupid. I guess I understand. My whole life is about to cave in. All I got left is Jennifer Flavin. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to make Rambo 4 and 5. Check it out. So call me up. I really need a script. I can do dialogue or keep it zipped. I like comedy, action, adventure, and drama. The only thing I will not do is have sex with a llama. So give me a break, for goodness sake. I used to be on Oprah. Now I can't get on Ricky Lake. Right now I got a one-man show in Poughkeepsie. Basically, I'm an unemployed gypsy. A little bit of cash is what I need. I gotta get a loan from Apollo Creed. I gotta have another hit movie or a Broadway show like Jenna Heath. I guess nobody ever saw Copland. It was stupid, so I understand. My whole life's about to cave in. All I got left is Jennifer Flavin. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I need to make Rambo 4 and 5. Absolutely.
115 at 560 WQAM. The one thing that keeps going through my mind over and over again, especially these last 2.5 years, can Greg Reed really possibly, can any human being possibly be that stupid? Oh. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Pompano Beach. Hello.
Maricol.
Oh, thank you so much. 12 minutes and 13 seconds he waited for that. Thank you so much, my spick friend. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello,
Yes,
Neil.
sir.
Can you settle an argument and do us a favor at the same time?
Meaning what?
Well, the argument is, my friend here says that you had said Phil Henry's coming back to Miami.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. 5670560. Boy, talk about a little bit behind the time. He's already back in Miami, sir. Wake up. And by the way, the Pope is going to India. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. I'll let Clear Channel spend the money to do the promotion, okay? I already given enough free promotion. Here's a call from Detroit. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil, I didn't expect to get on the radio today. I was just calling on behalf of a client of mine, and he wants to meet you. He sent you a packet last week. His name is Jeff Harrod. Did you get it?
Did I get it?
Did you get it?
You mean that silly-looking queen on the front of David magazine?
He might be silly, he might be a silly-looking queen, but he's getting a lot of acting jobs, and he's doing okay.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm happy. Tell him to have a great life. He's doing okay. No thanks. Is that incredible or what? One call left on the board here. Thanks a lot, Screw Ann, by the way. She's got the Midas touch in reverse. Everything she touches turns to instant processed crap. Thank you. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Davey. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I know what a great golf fan you are, but you did make the October 22nd issue of Golf World magazine.
For what?
In the local knowledge column, it says, guest of dishonor. Just when golf seemed to have rid itself of O.J. Simpson comes word of a brouhaha in South Florida regarding the disgraced former football great's appearance in a charity tournament. Radio station WQAM, which sponsored last month's event at Lagomar Country Club and Plantation, invited Simpson to play and paid for his expenses to travel from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
This angered one of the station's on-air personalities, Neil Rogers, who had been promising listeners for months that Simpson wouldn't play. It made me look stupid, Rogers told the Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel. So he got national coverage.
Didn't make me look stupid, made the whole station look stupid.
Yep. There it is in the Golf World magazine.
That never ends. It just doesn't stop. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
There's more good news for you, okay? Golf World. Even golf, which I had nothing to do with, even they know what a bunch of assholes we got here. I think I'm going to play music the rest of the hour because then I can just calm down and sit back and digest my great lunch from All-American Subs.
All-American.
What did I say?
You said All-American.
What is it?
Atlantic City.
I said Atlantic City Subs. Didn't I just say that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Didn't I say that?
No.
I didn't say All-American. What is that? Listen, I'm so incoherent now. And, of course, this is only about the 800th time that she's pulled this.
Roy!
Yeah. Either by sending him in here or the day that she was giving me the big song of the dance shortly after I first came here last year about, is it 14, is it 16? Miserable, obnoxious, disgusting, hateful, troublemaking bitch. That's what we had. That's the sales manager at WQAM. And by the way, the story was back last summer when Hank got suspended for those ridiculous whatever that was supposed to be about. It wasn't really about the food he was talking about out to the stadium. It was because he had intemperate things to say about a couple of the female people that work in his place, one of them being her. And I got news for you, Hank. Whatever you said, it wasn't enough. It was an understatement. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Man, you weren't cramping. I really did get on fast. I can't believe that you're not backed up a mile long.
Sir, I got 3 calls. You and 2 other people right now. That's it.
Okay, well, good. I got something.
And you want to know why? Because the people in this audience, like the people who participated in the golf tournament and the people out there at Lago Mar, this is the support I get from them. They're like oblivious at this point, okay? Evidently, they don't care. So what am I getting all excited about? Other than the fact that it was a fraud and a lie, and Center One obviously isn't going to get a dime out of this thing.
You want me to give you something that's going to throw you right off the edge of the cliff now?
Yeah.
I called in, I'd say about 7 to 10 working days, called it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I want to buy a spot on your station.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with 2 sales representatives, and I left 2 messages, and no one has gotten back to me yet.
Yeah, that's part of the course. I have people come to me at the hockey games with that story all the time. They call here, they leave a message, they're desperate, they want to run spots, so nobody bothers calling them back.
I can't even get a price out of these people.
Yeah.
I honestly have spoken to 2 different people and left, I think, either 2 or 3 voicemail messages.
Mm-hmm.
No one has bothered to call me back to give me information, to give me anything whatsoever. I'm kind of baffled about that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
I wish I had an answer for it, pal. I can't speak for them. They're oblivious.
I can't understand someone that brings in as much income, as much revenue as you do. You know, I probably can't afford a live spot because they're probably quite a bit, but, you know, I'd like to get a tape spot. I'd like to get one on
we have plenty of live avails on this show in spite of the stories that she runs around telling me. We got plenty of avails. And all of a sudden here, just since this golf tournament thing...
You have available?
This show has been sold out live for a year and a half, okay? For a year and 3/4. And now all of a sudden, the last couple of months, since this whole golf tournament thing came along, all of a sudden we've got all these live avails, and they're sticking all these other spots in here, and she's telling me all kinds of stories we do have, we don't have, this one made a mistake, et cetera, and so on. Nobody seems to have an accounting a handle on this anymore, and we can't come up with another place for us to do an appearance. One more here in November for Center One.
Wait a second. You have live spots available during your show?
Yes, sir.
Both reps I spoke with said that there were none available. That's the reason I could not get live spots.
Absolutely incorrect, sir.
Oh, my God. Have mercy. You know, a lot of times I hear you talk about your sales holes and sales witch and so forth.
Let me give you a count for today, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 live avails on the show today.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not.
I hear you talk about these people and I hear you badmouth them, and I wonder how you get away with it. Talking about management and so forth. But apparently these people are so goddamn incoherent and incapable of doing their job. Apparently it's true.
That is correct.
I'm living proof, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Good luck, pal. There you go. There's some more good news here at QAM. There's a guy that wants to give us his money. We don't want it. We don't need it. We'll give it to the American Cancer Society. Anybody believe that story, by the way?
No.
We just took a poll. We polled 42 million people in the last break about that story about the charity money. And did you think any of it went to Jerry's kids?
No.
No. And all 42 million, when we asked, do you believe that story? They all said
no.
No. Not one. Not one said they believed it. Maybe some of it went to MS research. You think so?
No.
Maybe some of it went to the Lupus Foundation.
No.
Huh? Maybe some of it went to United Way.
No.
How about the Milky Way?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, the Milky Way. Yeah, that's where a lot of those pictures come in. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Friday I was thinking about you. I had heard a thing on the news about a haunted house that they were having in Arizona.
Yeah.
And the basis of this haunted was based on the Columbine massacre, and it was being done in a church, and the reason they were doing it was to try to scare kids into religion. I just had to call you and tell you that.
Isn't that great? I can't think of anything scarier than the Bible.
Exactly.
Great.
I just thought I'd call and tell you that.
Thanks for the good news.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, if anybody believes in God, you come work here for a couple of weeks, okay? That's right. Just ask Scott Schwartz. He'll tell you. Come and work here at QAM for a couple of weeks. You'll know that there's no God. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that situation with Screw-Ann and the money thing.
Yeah.
It just seems like, just the nature of the world as it is today. All those companies who signed on to get that advertising, so on and so forth, none of them have stepped up because they got what they wanted. They got their advertising, they got the publicity, no more, no less. And regardless of what the justice of the situation is, they got theirs. And that's why the state of affairs you have them as they are.
Well, that's great. And so, in other words, evidently none of the people who sponsored that or played or was involved in it really give a crap where the money went. I find that hard to believe.
Well, that seems to be the bottom line.
Everybody
was complaining before about O.J. being there, so on and so forth. Why hasn't anybody come out and said not only about the O.J. situation, about the misappropriation of funds?
Right.
Isn't that the bottom line?
I certainly far beyond O.J. being there. I mean, that was irritating and it was unacceptable, but that's a minor irritant compared to where's the money.
Of course, and that's what it goes to show you. It's not so much where the money went, is that they got what they ultimately wanted. That's why you're not getting no calls and no response outside of your local callers.
Yeah, and evidently the people that, see, a lot of people that play in these things, they make the donation because they want to go out there and rub elbows with the Don Strock and this one and that one and all the ex-jocks. And once they do that, they don't give a crap beyond that, which is very sad.
apparently that's the deal. It's not about the justice or whether or not, everybody, the foundation got the money as was advertised.
Right.
It's just a matter of people got
you're
what
probably
they wanted.
right. You're probably right. I mean, the Center One and yours truly, we're in it alone at this point.
That's what it seems like to me. Everybody got what they wanted, pretty much the selfish mentality. Everybody got what they wanted. Nobody has to worry about anybody else.
Okay, we got it, pal. Thanks. Good point.
It's only $50.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line, 26 after 1 here at QAM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Burn the bloody bitches.
All right.
The restroom smells like roses after I'm done. Can't understand why everybody's making fun. The restroom smells like roses. To me it seems okay, but I'm not the only one who used the restroom today. I was only in there for a few minutes. I always spray the Lysol when I am through. But now the word is out that I did it. I guess I'll have to find somewhere else to do. Now I'll have to hold it in and hang my head in disgrace. When I get my hands on who spread those rumors, I'll bash in his face. Cause the restroom smells like roses whenever I am through. It smells okay to me when I do.
All right.
131 at 560 WQM. There's that stench in the air today, you know what? All over this place. There's that gigantic pungent smell. Oh, man. It's beautiful. The good news is, though, that we, in spite of all the problems with the discs and that ill-fated golf tournament, that fraudulent golf tournament, we still raised just a hair under 36 grand in October for Center One. And you can go to your spec stores in Palm Beach and Dade and Broward and over there in Fort Myers and pick up the best of Neil CDs and cassettes, or you can call Center One or off the internet, off our neilrogers.com website, or to the keychains with the buttons on them, and also get the other stuff too, the merchandise and the T-shirts. neilrogers.com, or you can call Center 1-954-563-3600. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do it like we do with Pizza Loft. For the 13th, we're going to have to find somebody ourselves that will do an appearance at between noon and 2. Because obviously the sales department isn't going to do it. For whatever reason, that's, one per month, October, November, December. Should that be difficult? No. Should be a piece of cake. But for some strange reason, it isn't happening. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi. I play golf, and I've been following your comments on this for a couple of weeks now. And one thing that kind of I find shouldn't be done is please don't include the management group of Lago Mar in that, because these people have worked with charities for years. They host inner-city clinics for youth groups for free.
Yeah.
And all they did was rent their golf course to who? QAM? I mean, you would rent to QAM. I would rent to QAM.
Yeah.
And the real
they won't anymore.
Probably not.
No, we got a letter after the OJ incident. We got a very angry letter from the manager over there. They will not have anything to do with this place anymore.
Well, probably.
But let me ask you this: where do you think, in other words, if you're going to play in a charity golf tournament, who did the people make the checks out to?
That'd be a good question. I would think that they would make it out to the charity. I've run a couple of charity events and I've participated in a few, and generally you make it out basically for tax purposes. You make it out to a nonprofit organization.
Right, that's right. It is tax deductible.
Right. So and normally these things, depending on how many corporate sponsors you have, but normally the golfer fee is you get about let's say a 40 to 50% profit on the golfer fee. And then, of course, proportionately higher with your like for the guy that takes the platinum package or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if it cost you $1.50 to play in the tournament and they had 100 people, well, then you got to figure that was $7,500 profit.
Right.
But that's just like a rule of thumb. But anyways, the management group at Lagomar are fine people, and they've done so much, behind the scenes for youth groups and schools and
right.
people in general that I just
agree.
wanted to say that.
That's a good point.
All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bob. And of course, the people at Lagomar probably would be, because we'll never get an honest answer from in here, will we?
No.
Unless, of course, now maybe we still have people listening, although I doubt it because they seem to have vanished for whatever reason since the golf tournament. We had a few call in the days immediately after the OJ debacle, but maybe we have some of those people still with us who can tell us if they wrote a check, and if so, who would they make the check out to? Was it QAM? Was it Center One? It couldn't have been to Center One. There's no way that could have been, because if that was the case, none of that money could have been diverted to the American Cancer Society or OJ's plane trip or anybody else. The O.J. Simpson revival, the Image Fund. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil. I'm
Yes,
a
sir.
long-time listener, first-time caller, and attempted advertiser on QAM also. I was also told you guys don't have any live spots.
Absolutely untrue.
And it makes me think that QAM wants my money not that much, because that's what your sales department seems to do. And it's real unfortunate that given your programming and the type of product you put out where they can demand some money, apparently they have no taking. So I think QAM really, really doesn't want our money all quite that much.
Yeah, well, it's part of the game playing process that's going on. You understand?
Seems like it, Neil. You have a good one.
Thanks for the good news. There's another one. We probably have a list as long as your arm of people who've tried. Yes?
The checks were made payable to WQAM.
Ah! Now the fine aroma that most of us are so familiar with. That's right. That fine aroma is in the air now that we find out where the checks were made out.
Hey! Stench of cow manure
hangs over this place. How do you like that? Nice going, Mad Dog. The checks were made to WQAM. So like the guy says, don't get the Lagomar people involved in the middle. They're just trying to do a good deed, like they have a million times for a charity cause. The checks were made out to WQAM, which immediately tells you there should be, in 15 minutes, they could come up with an accounting of how much money was raised of a dollar figure, subtracting whatever the cost was, the expenses were, et cetera, and so on, and come up with a net figure. Here we are 6 weeks later, and they're still doing a tap dance and trying to blackmail our friend Carol at Center One. This is so low, so scummy, so grotesque. If you make a big stink about this, in other words, if you repeat this to Neil, I'm going to show him those pictures of you with a golfer, with the athletes, and with OJ. Like, I give a crap. I mean, if Carol was out there, just like everybody else, she was getting her pictures made with whoever. That's her business. I don't care. It's got nothing to do with the price of peanuts. Sounds like blackmail to me. Sounds like another unethical piece of turd to me that this place is becoming notorious for, infamous for. Let me say it again. Say it one more time. The checks were made payable to
WQAM.
You know, it was a great lunch, subs, from Atlantic City Subs.
On Park Road in Sheridan.
On Park Road in Sheridan, Hollywood. They're great. It was great. But you know something? I'm ready to heave that lunch and several previous meals all over this counter. Just hearing this crap. And you see, the worst part of it is we didn't have anything to do with this. We didn't want to be associated with it. We wanted nothing to do with it. Have the tournament for somebody else. Don't do us any favors. And now you understand why? Now you understand why. Because everything they touch turns to instant processed manure. We'll overcome. We'll wind up with a good year fundraising. We'll sell a lot of stuff, make a lot of cash, but we'll still find out what the inside story is on this. Inquiring minds want to know, and if nobody else wants to know, I want to know. 21 till 2 at QAM.
Hi, this is Bill Zimford. Go to WQAM.com for all the latest Dolphins information and your chance to win great prizes playing Beat the Broadcaster. Sports Radio 560 WQAM.
I will French kiss asparagus and sun-dried tomatoes. I've slobbered over lima beans and large-eyed potatoes. When it comes to kissing produce, I'm rarely ever fickle. But there is one thing I will not do. I will not smooch the pickle. No, he won't. Oh, no, he won't.
No.
No, he won't. He never will.
No.
He'll never smooch the pickle. I'll tickle tease and squeeze the bees. I'll sunlash watermelon. I'll gladly munch on Captain Crunch and all else that you're selling. I'll suck and nibble cantaloupe and lap its tangy trickle. But I'll never, ever, no, I'll never, ever smooch that pickle. No, he won't. Oh, no, he won't. Not even. No, he won't. He never will. He'll never smooch the pickle. I've fingered grapes and licked the butts of sweaty heads of lettuce. I've done about everything with fruits and have a veggie fetish. I've swallowed bananas oh so big they sure did tickle. And even though I love these things, I will not smooch the pickle. No, he won't. Oh, no, he won't. Not even. No, he won't. He never will. He'll never smooch the pickle. One more time. No, he won't. Oh, no, he won't. Not even. No, he won't. He never will. He'll never smooch the pickle. Yeah.
145 at 560 W whatever. I'm going to have to save this Israel thing for tomorrow. Israel's history disputed. That'll get some people psychotic. We got 450 open lines here in the last quarter hour. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's a lady in Boca. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I think you're missing one real good point on your side with this golf tournament.
Uh-huh.
You read a lot of ad copy, so did everybody on the air. Correct?
You mean promotions, promo?
Promotion.
Right.
Who wrote that? You?
No.
They did.
Uh-huh.
Did that say anything about another charity?
Oh, of course not. There was never any other charity involved.
Well, then they have falsely used the name of Center One to promote a tournament.
And all the people on the air, too. I mean, that's what we said when the OJ thing came up, is that was bad enough. But, I mean, there wasn't mentioned one way or the other in the promos. But certainly, it was every promo to benefit Center One.
Well, then they are the ones that have a lot.
Let me ask you this. How do you arbitrarily, after you've had a charity event that you've, purported to represent one thing, how do you then at that point determine how much is allegedly going to go to some other charity that you just decided arbitrarily in the middle and midstream, and how much is going to be left over, and then come up with a line like, oh, well, not very much?
You can't. That's the point. You have the
Something
tape.
really, really stinks here.
You have the tapes, and Center One has a case against them.
Yeah.
They use their name in promotion of an event for profit. And at this point, if Center One isn't getting the money, then...
and how can it be 6 weeks later that there's no accounting of how much, especially if all the checks went to QAM?
Well, Center One has the right to demand an accounting because of the fact that their name was used to promote it.
I'll make sure that they do.
And no one else's name. Therefore, I mean, it may be a very good charity, but they have no right to that money.
Right. Well, I'd bet you a lot of money that no other charity got a dime.
Well, I'm sure it's not anyway, but the point is no one has the right to, so they can't even claim that.
Right. Okay, thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Unbelievable to take something as, as benign, as positive, as easy as falling out of the sack in the morning or falling off a log. Because like I've told you before, when you have a bunch of crazy people running the asylum, a bunch of irresponsible children in a sandbox, as opposed to a business, like a real business, that when somebody calls and says, oh, by the way, I'd like to buy some advertising on the show, whatever it is, that somebody actually returns the call and has like an adult conversation with him, like a business person, like doing business. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
Okay.
A previous caller, she stole a lot of thunder, but maybe some other thoughts. What you had was an implied contract, and because the station diverted the funds, that is, you can double check with your attorney, but that's fraud.
Mm-hmm.
When the intent is to deceive, then you got fraud, and because there was no.
I mean, I don't have the promo in front of me because it's long since gone, but I remember the last line, proceeds to benefit Center One.
Exactly, and the funds did not go there.
Charity. No, they haven't received a dime.
And if they claim that their intent was not to defraud, then you should buck up and say, well, you didn't pay me my talent fee of $100,000. Then you'd see some money going real quick, saying, well, we only raised $50,000. Here's the money, Center One. You know, you could say, hey, you know, you didn't pay me my talent fee.
Talent fee for what?
Well, for your promotion, didn't you show up?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have anything to do with this thing.
I'm sorry. I thought you showed up, being a big supporter of Center One, that you lent your name and you actually appeared there.
No, I did not.
Signed autographs or whatever the case may be. But no, you know, they defrauded, and their intent was to deceive.
Okay, well, tell the Beasleys over there we said thanks.
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Beasleys, and thank you, Greg, again, for being a great businessman, a great leader that we can trust, that we can follow, that we can just blindly go over the edge of a cliff after, knowing that he won't lead us astray. You know what I mean, Greg?
Yeah.
I knew you would. 5670560. I mean, see, like I've told you before, people think I make this stuff up. There's no embarrassment factor here. It doesn't make any difference how grotesque, how humiliating it is. Nothing can embarrass them. It's like water off a duck's back. They just don't care. It's like the business about not paying people on time. The contest winners at Power 96, the contractors who are doing this 5-year project over here that should take about 3 months in a normal place. They just don't care. Just give us the effing money, please. I'm sorry, no please. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Let me get your mind on something else. Do